Hi, everybody. Let's get everybody in here.
Hello.
I like that intro.
That was awesome. I loved it, man. That's freaking great. Everybody,
That was
thank the Matcave for
awesome.
that intro. That was awesome.
That was
Yes,
a
You're welcome,
great
Stan.
very.
intro.
Great
Now,
Yes.
job.
according to Ziggy, it appears to be the year 2001,
Yeah, you got to do the tap.
and you're a YouTuber here to teach everyone about the Quantum Leap project.
Oh boy.
Well, we're in for a big disappointment, aren't we, boys and girls? So how y'all doing today?
Good, man.
Good.
Just
Good.
another year older.
Yeah. I'm on my way to that also.
So,
Oh yeah.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
I
Was
gotta
definitely-
say, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's definitely one of those series that really defined an era.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Ran
it
from
did.
1989 to 1993 with 97 episodes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
Basically,
close to 100.
yeah, I know. Basically, for those of you who don't know, Quantum Leap is a temporal experiment created by Dr. Sam Beckett, who wanted to leap in and out of his own lifetime and fix things that went wrong. And as it turns out, according to Al, it went a little caca. And he leapt into the bodies and lives of other people, complete strangers. However, it was still within the years of his own lifetime.
Mm,
Well,
there were a couple episodes where he leapt into the Civil War.
Oh yeah.
there were some moments where things did go a little astray, but for the most part, the rules were in place that yes, he was leaping within his own lifetime. But as you got into later seasons, they started to kind of play around with the idea a little more. You know, the like big rules of don't do anything to change your own life. And moments where opportunities like that would come up became some of the most emotionally charged moments, especially whether it came to Sam's life, Al's life. I mean, just as interesting as Sam Beckett's story is, Al's story is just as interesting, if not possibly even more than Sam's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah, it was a story definitely about both of them.
Yeah.
Definitely both of them and their partnership, their relationship. And to me, the casting couldn't have been better.
No, they casted that great.
Yeah.
Even the guest
Yeah,
stars.
it was great.
Yes. All the
Mhm.
guest stars. I mean, it's just, to me, it was, for lack of a better term, a perfect show.
And introductions. And introductions to people that we know now are huge stars.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Like Jennifer Aniston was in an episode, Terry Hatcher,
Brooke Shields.
Brooke Shields was in
Yep.
there.
That one was on the other day.
And it's funny, the episode they did with Brooke Shields matches the Blue Lagoon.
Yep. Yeah, it does.
Absolutely. So that was a great thing about a show like this, that it was handled with different time periods. And
Yes.
I feel like this show was made at the perfect time because they were able to get these set pieces together with the right vehicles, dress a town the right way. Trying to do that now is so much harder
Yeah.
than it was in the 80s because access to things like that, it's not the same anymore. So,
Mhm.
you know, to recreate the 60s
Mhm.
now, you're going to be doing it digitally.
Yeah, it was easier then to do the futuristic things because we hadn't seen it yet.
Yep.
You know, and doing his own lifetime that we were still so used to in current day, it was easy
Mhm.
for him to just go and go buy a car off the lot.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Absolutely.
What, and I know the answer, I'm sure you guys know too. What year did he hop in or leap to the most?
I mean, it does a ton in the 50s, throughout the 50s. Um, I don't know if there was a standout year that he hit the most.
About mid-50s was about the most he did.
Yeah.
1958.
Was
He
it
went there more
58?
than any other time.
I was going to
Yep.
say I was going to say 57.
Okay.
Not
I was going to say, I
58. He
don't
went
know.
there more than any other time. And and I don't know the significance of 1958, if there was any significance to it, but he leaped there more than any other time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of stuff went down in '58.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a show that not only was he hitting different decades, but he was hitting different moments in just culture,
Mm-hmm.
community, and tackling these topics that a lot of other shows were scared to even touch.
Yep.
I mean, think about anything between racism and just there's a time where he's I believe he was a naval officer who was gay, and there was
Hmm.
things going on with that, and this was at a time where a lot of things in media weren't even touching this stuff. But when
Right.
you put it into a period piece like this, where it's just set in that time, this is the way things were, this is how everybody spoke, this is what was going on in that time, I think it made it a lot easier for audiences to consume that type of media, because it was just taking place. It was like watching history unfold.
Yeah, exactly.
History with a comedy twist.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what made it easier to swallow, because they weren't so
Mhm.
serious about it, because the situations that Sam was always put in, is something just completely out of the blue.
Mhm.
Like I was telling you in the Discord, I know that, and I want to say it was 80 or 81 when the episode aired, because my mother and I used to watch this religiously. We'd sit there and watch it together, and then afterwards we'd talk about it.
Yep.
Well, it got to the end of the episode, and it went to a commercial, so my mother and I started talking. And while we were talking, it came back on, and he leapt into somewhere. I don't know where. But, you always expect him, he jumps in and goes, oh boy.
Yep.
And this particular time, we're sitting here talking, and we're looking at each other talking, and we clearly hear out of the TV come, oh shit. And we both, right toward the TV, did he just say what I thought he just said? I cannot find that episode. I can't remember which one it was. Of course, I was, 11, 12 at the time. But I've got them all, and I've rewatched them, and I cannot find that particular episode.
Yeah.
maybe we should get a VPN and change it to a different country.
That could be.
There you go.
That's the
I mean,
benefit of a VPN. Not sponsored.
Yeah, exactly. There were plenty of episodes where he didn't get to get that old boy out just right away, because usually he'd leap in and get punched in the face.
Yep.
Almost immediately.
Oh yeah. Or like he left and he's like riding a motorcycle. It's like, I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that. Just be like,
Well, like I said, I
lugging
wanted to
down
say this particular episode, he leapt into like a fighter jet, and they were doing combat maneuvers when he leapt in, or something like that. That's just what comes to mind. But he did that several times.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Hell, I like the one where he leapt into the monkey.
Yeah, he's the situations he gets put into, and it's never like joining that moment at a comfortable spot. No,
Nope.
He's right in the middle of whatever was happening, having no idea, with the Swiss cheese brain and the whole deal. It's just,
And he's got to wait for Al to show up to tell him what's going on, but Al's back in the waiting room talking to the person he leapt into to get that information.
Because they got to figure out where he went. That's
Yep.
the thing. because Al and Gushy and all them, they don't know where he went
Nope.
until they figure that out. So that actually was a great moment in the one we were talking about in the Discord with the young Stephen King, and we got the first introduction of the devil / evil leaper, and Al didn't show up until the end of the episode because the devil or whatever this was supposed to be was pretending to be Al. And when he finally puts it together, and he's like, this whole time, you never used the doorway, you didn't walk through anything. It's like it was a weird, creepy episode.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah.
Being it was Stephen King, yeah.
Yeah. But I love how he's getting all the references to it's like, oh, this was the inspiration for Christine, and this was the inspiration for Cujo, and all this stuff. It was just so well done. And the writing was just top notch in this show. I mean, there's not a whole lot that matches what we got from this series.
Right.
I'm trying to look up where he said, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
I've looked it up. I can't find it. I know it was there. I just have yet to be able to find it. I'll keep looking.
Yeah, I watched a interview at a Comic-Con, I think it was from 2 years ago, where Scott Bakula and oh crap,
Dean Stanton?
yes, they Dean Stockwell.
Or Dean Stockwell, yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about, and they actually had Don Belisario on the panel as well, and they were asking, "Hey, is Sam ever going to go home? Is he ever going to make it?" And he's like, Don Belisario's like, "I've got it written."
Oh, wow.
He's just waiting for somebody to pick it up. Let me see if I can find that. Because
that would be fantastic.
How amazing would that be to get a final,
and we were just talking about that too.
Just to get a final, true final season. It doesn't even have to be long. Just a mini series. Somebody's got to pick that up. Because I know Scott Bakula's been in interviews and has been open to doing it. It just... But you know what I would love for them to do? Is if they were to do it, and we get this mini-series, say, for example, to wrap this all up, I don't want them to go all out with special effects. I want them to
go back to the original way they filmed it.
Recreate it as close to how it was done. Have the little light up, computer he's using to talk with Ziggy and do all that. Like just the beeps and the boops and the everything. Keep it as close as possible. Because I think that would just make it the best thing for it.
It really would.
Leia Rose is here. How are you?
Hello, Leia Rose. Sorry, I am distracted. I have actually found it. I've got closed captions on so I can try and find the part where he says that.
Nice. I think Belisario also created NCIS, which
yes,
Scott Bakula was in one of the NCIS shows.
Yeah,
right?
New Orleans.
Yeah, and
he was in charge of the New Orleans chapter.
Nice. He's one of my favorite actors. Scott Bakula was. He's one of those actors that I just grew up watching in so many things, and I remember when Star Trek Enterprise came out, and I was
Jonathan Archer.
Yes, I was so hooked on that show, and it was funny because some of those episodes, every once in a while, kind of felt Quantum Leap like.
Yeah,
they did. It was so good.
That was some of my favorite Trek. Was Enterprise. Yeah.
They did such a good job.
Yeah, the smart ass engineer with a southern accent. I was like, that's my boy right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was taking no crap from those Vulcans.
Oh hell no.
But this was a series that it really was like me and my best friend. We always loved watching Quantum Leap, MacGyver, and all that stuff. Like, these were the shows we talked about all the time.
Love MacGyver.
MacGyver was great too. You know what? It's funny though. Show. I tried going back. Like Quantum Leap, I think stood the test of time and holds up to this day. MacGyver,
MacGyver doesn't.
not as much, but it's still entertaining and it's still fun to watch. But I'm
Very.
rewatching
Uh,
Quantum Leap with my wife, and she's loving it. And seeing it now, I'm like, I mean, this is what I'd watch now. Captain Archer. Yep.
Yep. Okay, for those in the chat, I have found this. I'm going to share it on screen, but I'm also going to put the link to the entire video in the chat.
Awesome.
It's like just over 19 minutes long, but we're just going to kind of pick through it. Let's see, there's the link. And share screen, share audio, and kapuya. And I got closed captions on just in case you can't hear it very well.
Okay.
Because I got mute on.
This is what I want to do. I want to do social issues, but social issues came naturally to the show. And once we realized that, Scott and I started to do many issues that were fun, especially making him a woman and doing the feminist issue back 23 years ago, probably 27, 8 years ago.
And Scott, I mean, when you auditioned for the role, I mean, did you know that the role Sam Beckett would include you having to dress in drag occasionally?
I did not. But it wouldn't have stopped me from going in, obviously, because as Dustin Hoffman said, I can be a beefsteak tomato. So, in Tootsie. No, I didn't know that. I don't think anybody. I don't think any of us ever imagined that the range and scope of the kinds of roles that Sam could be a part of, or lives that he could get involved in, including a test chimp for NASA. I don't think that was ever part of the grand vision, but it just grew, and as the audience accepted it, because the first time I was in the life body of an elderly African American driver in the Deep South, they bought it. And we followed that 3 episodes later with me in the 60s in my little pillbox hat and my high heels and my purse in a auto in Detroit working as a secretary. And you guys bought that. And I think pretty much it was like, let's just go then.
Yeah, that's what it was. Every week we came up with something new, and we began to hit social issues because we were able to do it, and people accepted it, and it made a difference.
I just want to say one more thing about that. Don always said, because Dean and I tended to want to push social issues, and Don always said, what we're doing first and foremost, our job is to put on a great hour of entertainment for the audience. If there are things buried in every episode, or things that the audience wants to pull out and relate to or accept or dig deeper, that's so be it. But the idea was, and I think if you look at the breadth of his work, which is phenomenal, that he has always found relationships between his characters, the most important part of his shows, and found the truth in those relationships. And then whatever goes on around them, so be it. But he always found that first, whether it be Magnum or NCIS or JAG or Tales of the Gold Monkey or any of those shows. I'm leaving 75 out, but he was always about the relationships, and everything else grew out of that.
And that's the kind of writers we need again.
Note, I mean,
I agree.
I think one of the best things about the show was your chemistry with Dean. I mean, was that there from the beginning?
You asking me?
Oh no,
Oh, you know, well, you watched, you saw it.
I saw it. The chemistry was there. I mean, Scott came in and read for the role, and I played it very straight. And he walked out the door, and I said, "That's the guy. We've got to have him." And Dean, of course, offered to do the role. And when Dean offered, we didn't think we would get him. I mean, he was hot on movies. He had just done Married to the Mob. But he did. And when the two of them got together, they began to work out their own little relationship. And they brought a lot of improvisation to the show. And it was terrific.
Yeah, Dean and I, we kind of knew from the get-go, from our first time we read together, that there was something good there, and you never can plan for that. You hope for it, but There's nobody like Dean Stockwell, and the show was, I mean, he was an integral part of it, in many ways more important than me, because he balanced out all of Sam's normalness and with just his zaniness, which is this guy. He was writing Al in his image. But yeah, Dean we got along great, and we had a ball working together.
Dean did everything that was politically incorrect, and Scott did everything that was correct. Put
Balance.
it that way.
That's about right.
Yep.
Out of curiosity, I mean, was it hard
Mhm.
writing? It was also hard starting.
That was a shot from when he was the radio jockey.
That must have put a lot of
That was
pressure
a good
on
one too.
both the writers and on Scott to be into every scene as well.
Well, it wasn't a lot of pressure on me, but it was a lot of pressure on Scott, because he had to prepare for the show we were going to shoot next week while he was shooting the show this week. So he's playing a priest, and next week he's an acrobat. He has to train during lunch hour to be an acrobat when he's doing a show about being a priest. That wasn't what it was, but that explains it. And that's a tough thing to do every week. Get prepared for the next week's show while you're doing the show that's currently shooting.
And
Man,
every
that would
once
be
in a while,
hard.
I wouldn't have those
Yeah, it
scripts
would.
far in advance.
Yeah.
No, sometimes it only get pages.
And that was no trick. He was there with that lion.
Yeah.
It was the hardest job I've ever done. I was on the set every day except for 4 days in 4.5 seasons. And I was usually the first shot of the day in everything all day long, because I was the only person that carried the story, and then the only person that could see or talk to Dean. So I never got a break, except when Dean was me and I was him, which only happened twice. So it was a challenge. I had great helpers. I had great stunt people that helped me and kept me alive.
Yeah, this was from the Stanley Comic-Con in 2017.
Okay, who's trying to kill me this week? And I survived, and I'm glad. I'll never regret a day or a minute of being on that set.
And then you've also found time in there to also direct several episodes as well.
Just three. No, I did not. He said no the first 2 years, and he was so smart. Could I direct this year, Don? No. Thank goodness, because then I'm directing an episode. I'm starring in every episode because there was no break. Couldn't be. I'll direct the episode that I'm not in. That didn't exist. So I twisted his arm.
That was Neil McDonough.
So I would be shooting an episode. I'd be prepping an episode at the same time. Then I would be finishing an episode.
He was Lieutenant
starting
Hawk
a
in
new
Star Trek
episode,
First Contact.
and cutting an episode and handing over a director's cut to him. So it was like 3 weeks of insanity, and it was very exhausting. And happily, I'm glad I got to direct them. I had a ball doing it, but that added to a lot of stress.
Oh, I bet.
The show is that every week you guys were going to a new location, a new year, a new town. I guess, was it hard on the production side to sort of turn around these new sets every few days?
Well, we had a great team on set construction, on design, wardrobe. We had a lot of really good people, and everybody loved making the show because it was easy to work with Scott. Of all the people I've worked with over 30 some years in the business, he has been the easiest. That's the truth.
Wow, he just called Scott easy.
Because he is a stickler for detail. So if it was the wrong license plate on the wrong year car in 1953, we got it right. If those shirt collars didn't exist in 1974, we got it right. So he started from the top, and that's seeped down to every level and made everybody care because they knew that the boss wasn't looking the other direction. He demanded everybody make the show as perfect as possible, which is almost impossible it is impossible doing hourly television. But we did. If you go back and look at our shows, the detail is extraordinary, and it's because of him. Because he made it happen.
Sometimes it went a little too far. I remember asking for calla lilies on an episode. I thought I wanted calla lilies on a porch. And then I noticed as the episodes went on, actually I didn't notice, but calla lilies kept popping up in every episode. And then one day, Greensman came to me and said, Don, we can't find any calla lilies in the United States. You have to go to Australia to get them. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, you wanted calla lilies in every show. No, I'm not in that one show.
You remember the show, and you remember the last episode in the bar. It was an exact replica of his dad's bar in Pennsylvania, down to the pig's knuckle jar on the bar counter. And he had pictures that he'd saved.
Wow.
And the pictures went out to the set designers and Cameron and everybody to make this bar correct, because I'm flying my family, his family, in to see the bar. And they all came from Pennsylvania, and they all had this huge flashback that they were in their uncle or dad, or whomever they were, however they were related. And it was amazing. That bar was amazing.
The bar was an exact duplicate of the bar. And to tell you how exact it was, there was one wall that used to have a door that went through to another room. And that door had been sealed off and the wall painted over, but you could still see the outline of the door slightly if you looked real close. So I had them put that in, and they said to me, you can't see it. The camera will never see it. I said, I don't care. I know it'll be there. So they did. They thought I was nuts, but and maybe I was.
On the subject of the series finale, I mean, I think when it aired, and it was somewhat controversial. I mean, looking back on it now, how do you guys sort of feel about the series finale?
What was that question? I didn't catch it.
How do you feel about the series finale?
Oh, I loved it. It was emotional for me because it was my home. I was 18 years old when the bar was replicated, we replicated the bar when I was 18. And the finale, I didn't want the show to end, but it had to. So it was hard. I was proud of that episode. Everybody was.
Well, and you should have been. It was a great episode. Last episodes are always controversial, and I always say to writers, if you want to challenge more than writing just an hour of television, write an hour of television that is the last hour of television that show will ever have on. Write it so that it could also come back next fall. Write it so that it could possibly become a movie of the week, or write it so that it could still potentially be a feature film someday. And
that would be badass.
Absolutely.
And Don,
yeah.
if you go back and watch that episode, he filled in all of those circles. He checked off all those boxes. And
those are the boxes to
not
check.
Everybody loved it. My 11-year-old son at the time, when he watched the show, he was in tears and wouldn't speak to me because he said, I don't believe you didn't get to go home.
Yep.
Heartbroken about it.
Yeah.
And I said, I gave him Don's number.
The great thing, or the upside of Sam not being able to go home, I mean, I think is right now we're in this sort of huge sort of string of revivals and reboots.
Here we go.
I have to ask, is there any chance of Quantum Leap ever coming back in some form?
Well, I don't know. I just finished writing a Quantum Leap feature. I don't know what's going to happen.
There we go. That was 4 years ago.
Oh, man.
And he's got it written.
He just finished writing a Quantum Leap feature.
He has to clue you in.
Can you tease what it's about? Like, is it I guess how did you how did you come up with the story? Is it something that's been tossing around in your mind for a while?
The story for the feature?
Yeah.
No. I write things exactly the same way. I just start writing and I let it take me wherever it's going to take me. I'm entertained the same way the audience is. So I just put Scott and Dean in my head, kind of rebooted them, and went from there.
I think if he keeps at it, someday he's going to be successful, don't you?
Well, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you both for coming. This has been great. Thank you.
Yeah, that was
Fantastic.
freaking amazing,
Mhm.
man.
Yeah.
Freaking
That was
amazing.
great.
To see them back together on screen and just really wrap this story up,
Yeah.
you know, to see,
That would
I
be
mean,
fantastic.
who knows, maybe he still never gets home, but
That's-
to finally see Sam get home would be incredible. That would
That's the
bring so much
hashtag we need to
closure.
get going.
Yeah, bring Sam
Yeah.
home.
Well, see, Sam's got a wife too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
to see her once when he was Al.
And Al had a wife, lost his wife,
Yeah.
got his wife back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was like Al's story got closure.
Yeah.
Sam's
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What is up, Greedo and a Speedo? I love that name, man. I love that name.
Brings a whole new meaning to McClunky.
But yeah, Connor come up with this, that these issues are fabric of our entertainment growing up. And change stigmas. Modern Hollywood's just like, you must take this.
Yeah.
The way this show
Yeah.
tackled society over all these decades and how it was looked at, just it did it like what happens? What happens if you had to be in someone else's shoes and deal with this? And they did it literally.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
The Color of Truth, one of my all-time favorite episodes, leaps right into the person and is in the middle of just a little cafe, realizes he's hungry, so he sits down at the counter to realize, looking in the mirror, he's a black man in 1950 whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and he just
Mhm.
did the thing he should never have done at that moment in time.
Yep.
And what an amazing cliffhanger that was, like, because you always get that little tease at the end of the prior episode, and then that happens, and now you got to wait a week.
Mhm.
It's like, oh,
Yeah,
boy.
it's good.
Oh boy.
See, but back when this show was made, we don't have all the, we didn't have Twitter, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And most of us back then were not offended at a leaf falling off a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I mean, it was hard to offend the older crowd.
Yeah.
This was
Unlike
literally
nowadays,
Yeah,
wow.
This is literally
Yeah.
back before the internet. So
Yeah.
Yeah. This was.
I
we
think
all-
one of the
you would-
one of the good points that he brought up was, he wrote to entertain, and then it just so happened that during the writing of the entertainment, it brought in issues, social issues, which is
Yeah.
not something we see now. Writers write social issues, and they don't give a crap about entertainment. But if they did it like back then, entertainment first and foremost, and then everything else falls into place, and they would
Right.
be successful, just like Quantum Leap and so many other shows that existed back then.
Yeah.
they just try and force it down your throat. They don't let it happen organically.
Exactly. That
Mhm.
was the
Just
thing.
like,
And
Here it is.
why-
Eat it.
You're totally right,
Mhm.
and that's why Quantum Leap worked, is because it wasn't shoving it down your throat. But
Right.
the issue is there, and it's obviously the topic that it's being talked about. But it makes sense. to talk
flowed.
about. It flowed, exactly. It wasn't like, here's a story, and then, oh, by the way, issues. It was like, no, it was just, it happened
Mhm.
organically, and it happened the right way. And
Yeah.
if media would just come back to that style,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
things would be so much more entertaining, and people could have nice discussions about issues that were controversial, except you have a
Mhm.
a good conversation about it. And,
Exactly.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
a good TV show in common to bring you together to discuss it
yep.
instead of a
Mm-hmm.
dumpster fire.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, you're supposed to put it out with water. It's like, no, I'm not even going to piss on it. I'm just going to
Yeah.
let it burn.
Mm-hmm.
So when you
Yep.
got that kind of conflicting attitudes towards a show, you're never going to have a good conversation about it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Well,
See, I'm-
Green Lantern, starting it up.
yeah.
Burn the beast nest.
That's it. Like maybe one of the things stopping this. Now we know it's written. He's got a draft for the
He
story,
said it.
right? But what if the thing that's held it back is just current society? What if that's why? What if no entertainment outlet is willing to take a risk on making that?
And nowadays, that's quite possible.
That's the most. That could be the most unfortunate and saddest thing about why we might never ever see that. I mean, if I were him, I would at least write a book and share
Yeah.
that story. Something, like that's something that
Yeah,
I
because
think,
they made a few.
yeah. But if you can get that story out somehow and share that with the world, don't wait for the too late moment. Don't wait the way Lucasfilm did. Don't wait to lose Carrie Fisher and now we're trying to make Star Wars without her. Like that's
Right.
don't wait too long.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
these things the right way. Take advantage while you can, and in the best way. I mean, don't of course, people are going to want they always want to get paid and get money and stuff. But this is a property that, as far as I understand, NBC still owns it, I believe.
Yeah.
And they have their own streaming service. They have Peacock.
Mhm.
How amazing! They
Yeah.
have full advantage. There you go. That's
Yeah.
where your miniseries goes.
Yeah.
Well,
Put
and
it
for
on
all
there
of
as an
you that
exclusive.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. For all of you that follow me on Twitter, I just tweeted out #Bring Sam Home, #Quantum Leap Movie, and I added Scott Bakula.
Nice.
So retweet that and
Awesome.
let's get it going. So I'd love to see this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We need closure. Damn it.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
Damn it, man.
We just need
More
good
than anyone,
entertainment right now.
Well,
And,
that's
and that would be
that
it.
too.
That would be it. And it is
Mhm.
such a great show.
yeah.
They want something to compete with YouTube because everybody's watching YouTube and they can't figure out why. Well, because YouTube is more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not only just for
All right, I
entertainment.
retweeted you.
I mean, there you go.
Sweet.
But what a great way to share the very important moments from history with younger generations now.
Exactly.
And a
know,
history
show
that they're
them-
trying to erase.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was, I always loved history class back in school. That was my favorite class because I was very lucky to have several wonderful teachers in that course that made history entertaining. They would bring it to life somehow, in telling it. Like I remember one class that
Sorry, go ahead.
he wasn't, I don't think he was supposed to do this, but he brought in Saving Private Ryan, a copy of Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, nice.
And we watched Storming the Beach of Normandy in class,
Mm-hmm.
which was the most brutal moment in that entire film, in my opinion. And here we are. And the reason he did that was to show our generation, to say, listen, this was what war was. This is what people went through so that you can sit here today and we can all be together and talk about these things. And I think shows like Quantum Leap brought that grittiness that was needed to telling history, to say, look, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like
Yeah.
people were terrible to each other in certain decades,
And
you
you
know,
can't pick and choose what you want
Mhm.
history to be. History is history, and it's funny that you say that because
Mhm.
I think I might have mentioned this before, Daryl. I'm sure you might remember. That's what my degree is in. I have a history degree. I went to school specifically to teach history. Ended up taking a completely different path, but I already had everything planned out because I had horrible history teachers that were so boring you fall asleep in their class,
Mhm.
and I had
Yeah.
great history teachers. And I wanted to be the kind of history teacher that kids wanted to come to my class. I had ideas that I was going to dress up in period clothing when we hit certain aspects of time and all of that stuff. And it just never came to fruition because I wanted to do the Troops to Teachers program. And when I contacted them, they were like, well, we don't have any room for history teachers, but we need math and
Mm.
science teachers. Well, I barely graduated high school with Algebra 1 only because it was required.
Mm-hmm.
And and science is just not my forte. History or English I could do as well because I'm a good writer, but math or science, no, thank you.
Well, see, it's
So
just like,
that ended up going out the window.
see, I barely passed algebra only for one reason. I mean, the way my mind thinks, I can do trigonometry with no problem. Algebra, I have a problem with. I just was not getting it. And at the finals, the algebra teacher basically read a list, and there were like 6 of us. And she straight up said, these 6 people that I just said, even if you aced this final exam, you still fail the course. So she gave us the option to, just not take the final exam. We'd go study for something else. And I had a young lady sitting next to me who talked me into staying and taking the final exam, even though I knew I wasn't going to pass it. So, I mean, I stayed and took it, and the teacher passed me with a minimal grade just because I took that effort, and that's the only reason I passed algebra.
Wow.
You know what?
Hmm.
That's what a teacher does. It's about providing that motivation, that interest in what they're trying to teach you. If your class has no interest at all in what you're saying to them, you're not going to get far with them. But when you can
Mm-mm.
bring something to life, whether it's history, math, whatever, bring it to life for this class and
Mm-hmm.
show them that they can learn this. That changes everything. So when you take
Absolutely.
something like a TV show or a book or whatever it may be, and you're bringing something to life like that, you have now captured your audience, and your
Mm-hmm.
audience is taking
Hmm.
something away with them with it. I learned so much about history from Quantum Leap.
Yep.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
It was a
Hmm.
beautiful way to see life in the past without
Mhm.
experiencing it, but yet experiencing it through an emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Being able to connect with the
Hmm.
characters on TV and feel what they felt.
yeah. Because I
The
And it
don't
was
think
empathy.
just,
current generations have
yeah,
any
yeah,
idea how
empathy.
to
Thank you.
put themselves in someone else's shoes.
No.
Not literally,
No.
obviously, but figuratively. The idea of because that's growing up. How many times did we all hear something like, "Well, put yourself in their shoes"? It was just,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Zax,
Yep.
I see this comment and I got to iterate real quick.
Hmm.
Yes,
Ooh, sliders.
Sliders is in the talks of coming
Really?
back. Yes,
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
I
That'd be good.
will. I will find that article. Didn't expect
Yeah,
that to come up today.
that was
So,
another cool show
I
Well,
too.
didn't
with
know
your
that.
streams, you never know what's coming up.
yeah, you got that right.
Right?
In the words of
Next,
Chevy
we
Chase,
have no idea.
I was
Yes.
advised there'd be no math.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
kids
what.
today are in school and stuff. No empathy. They're
Mhm.
teaching them false history, um, critical race theory, which is a bunch of crap, and they're trying to push socialism and communism, and they don't teach it like they used to. Like I remember them teaching it these are the different types of governments we can have, and now they're just teaching, well, this is what it is, and this is what we should have. So glad my
Yeah.
kids are graduated.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
It's
doubt.
And that's the good thing about Quantum Leap is like you said, you know, you can see the empathy because he is literally in their shoes. So he has to be
Yep.
empathetic because he is living their life.
Yep.
you know, and that's what my wife watching it now for the first time for her is she really loves the character of Sam. She loves Scott Bakula playing that character, and her reasoning with the reason she loves that character type so much. She compares him. She's like, you know why he's so good? He's that he's that Christopher Reeve Clark Kent type character. That
Yep.
I want to help people. I
You can
want
relate.
to understand and
Mhm.
relate to your situation. And she's always loved those types of characters. And she loved not as much as I did, but she watched Smallville with me, and she loved that version of Clark
Mhm.
Kent, for example. But then when we got the Zack Snyder Superman and we got Henry Cavill in it, I loved it. I loved seeing this new take of that character, but she wasn't on board like I was because she
Mhm.
loves that innocence that's in the
Right.
character, and Sam Beckett being portrayed by
Mhm.
Scott Bakula was just this perfect combination. And he's
Mhm.
that person, he's that person that you just trust them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'll agree with Eddie on that one. All the history they're trying to now erase.
Mm,
Mhm.
Yeah. And they're stupid because those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yep.
Repeat
exactly.
it. Mhm.
So
Hmm.
let me share this because I found the article.
Mm.
Okay.
They've been in talks about this since 2019. I didn't know that.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
I didn't either.
But
Wow.
actually,
That was
Jerry
such a great
O'Connell and
show.
John Ross Davies are actually talking to NBC about it.
See, why not bring it back?
Cool.
They brought back Saved by the Bell. Why can't we have Sliders and Quantum Leap?
Right? Oh, funny enough, look right here.
Wow.
Saved by the Bell.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Did they really?
Yes, they
I did
did.
not
Oh,
even know that they did
Oh, and they're
that.
going to reboot Battlestar Galactica again?
again? Wow.
Punky Brewster, really?
You know why
Punky.
they're rebooting these shows? Because they can't think of
Because
anything
people watched
original.
them back
So
then.
just go with the old shows that everybody watched back in the day,
Hmm.
and we'll just bring those back because we have no ideas.
Yeah, they,
I
they
mean, come
have
on.
no.
Hmm.
These people have no imagination. The ones
No.
that are in Hollywood now have no idea to come up with an original idea.
No.
Yeah.
And that's actually sad. I mean, I'm not the most imaginative person in the world, but I've got more imagination than these people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank God I had more imagination when I was 6 years old playing Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? We
But
had to be.
the thing that gives me hope about this reboot is Jerry O'Connell and John Ross Davies were actually talking to them about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They approached NBC about it. And it's right here. Jerry's been pestering me for a number of years, and we're actually talking to NBC at the moment to see if there's a possibility of rebooting the series. Because I
Mhm.
stopped watching it after John Ross Davies' character died.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, this ain't Sliders no more. And I tried watching a few episodes after that, and it was kind of like, And then all that was left at the end was him
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Rembrandt. And while he's a cool character, he's like the Lando Calrissian of the show. He comes off that way to me, and it's really cool. But he, yeah, he just unfortunately he couldn't carry it.
Mm-mm.
And I
Not by
never saw
himself.
the episodes where she was gone and what happened to him. I never knew those. I never saw those episodes. And the one that where he died, it just broke my heart, and I was like, I can't do it no more. Because I
Mhm.
mean, I got so attached to them. Because I mean, hell, it's Sala from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Hell, Grimly from Lord of the Rings.
There you
Yeah,
go. And these shows
He's
live
been in
on
so
through the
much stuff.
fans. Oh yeah, he's
Oh,
John
Yeah.
Rhys Davies. He's
yeah.
been in everything. He's
Everything.
yes.
I love hearing him tell stories
He's
though
a
in interviews and
fantastic
stuff. He's
actor.
so he gets so dramatic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Oh yeah. But anyway, let's see.
I mean, we've had things come back in the past, fan driven and things like the Firefly, for example,
Mhm.
Dude,
had
that was a
had an
while
Yeah.
ago.
abrupt ending, but they got to finish it off in a movie.
Yeah, which
Sometimes the
was
actors are
phenomenal.
really trying to get this to happen, but studios, I don't know, they don't want to continue with it.
That's why I
Um,
wish I was rich.
yeah,
I'd fund them all.
Right.
exactly.
I'd
Mhm.
be like, let's bring it on. Let's get it going. You ain't got to go by any of Hollywood's rules. This is an independent film. We'll show it at Sundance Film Festival,
There you
Yep.
and
Yep.
it'll light it up.
go. Get fans to unite and just fund
They're
the whole
getting
thing.
Sundance Film Festival's getting a lot more attention now than Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because they're
Mhm.
better,
Yeah,
way better.
because the indie films that come
are
out of
doing
there,
so much better.
yes, they're creative. They're not afraid to be
Mhm.
creative.
That's it.
Hmm. And it's like Connor said, Hollywood won't take risks anymore. Want a sure thing for a return on investment. Well, but that's the thing. They want a sure thing for a return on investment, but what they're doing to these what were once sure things, they're not going to have a return on investment because they're
Nope.
ruining them.
Yep, they're destroying the whole franchise.
I.e., He-Man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I can think of, and you guys might be able to think of something else, but the only thing I can think of, and we've spoke of this before, is Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai is the perfect example of how you bring something back.
It's the best
Yeah.
around. Nothing gonna ever get you. Okay, no copyright strike. But you're right. I mean, they did it beautifully.
Mhm.
You couldn't have done it any
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the new season.
Oh, I know. It's
Mhm.
gonna be good.
Mhm.
Terry
I
Silver.
don't. I think I replay the last 10 minutes of the final episode at least once every other week.
Yeah, I can't wait.
You want to
Oh
make
my
sure
God,
you're
that
ready
next
for that next season.
I love the dynamic because I mean they did do it right. They brought in new characters
Mhm.
that you can get behind, but they didn't destroy the old characters to do it. It's an actual passing of the torch, the older generation passing down to the new generation.
Mhm.
And you see throughout that it was written so well because Daniel and Johnny still have that rivalry. You can see where they could be friends and they start being friends. And then some outside force comes in and they go right back to being enemies.
Yep.
And
Fighting
it,
in that garage.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
I mean, it's just, and then it's all back and forth, and then you get to that final episode where they both walk into the backyard at the same time to teach both sets of students, and you just sit here and go, yes, because that's
So-
what you wanted.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because you just got the wheels turning up here. So, what if we get this revival of Quantum Leap,
What if? Captain
except we get a passing of the torch? What if the
That
project
would be
still
awesome.
goes, and Scott Bakula is now just he's done this for so long, and his time is over, and now it's time for someone else to take on the mantle and leap through time. But now we get to see the 90s, we get to see the early 2000s, we get to see, and still go back further, but we get to see some more decades. Would you guys watch that?
And they can do it.
Mhm.
Because when you
Oh my
look at the 3-part
If it
episode
was
called
done
the
right,
trilogy,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
when you look at that 3-part episode that it called the trilogy,
Yep.
He leapt in as the father.
Mhm.
And then in the next one, he leapt in basically as the boyfriend. And there was something that happened to where it wasn't the boyfriend anymore. It was actually Sam. And then you get to the third part where they're going to shut down the program, and you find out that that little girl is actually Sam's daughter.
Abigail.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She could take up his mantle. So now you've also got the female representation in it,
There you go.
and it's still part of Sam Beckett. So it's still that project that she's actually involved in.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Still have Ziggy as the computer system calculating what's the best
Yep.
scenario here. I mean, they could take, some inspiration from the show Legends of Tomorrow. They have that computer system in there, Gideon.
Yeah.
That's finding the breaks in time and where things need to be fixed. And
You're right, Greedo.
that's inspired by Quantum Leap. That show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we
Yeah.
do this, Greedo. That's why we
Exactly.
do YouTube,
Yeah.
because reality TV sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, Green Lantern. That's a great idea, but we would need 100 times that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get the ball rolling, we need at least 100 million.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah,
to get our
because
foot in
didn't,
the door.
Star Wars Theory did his fan fiction film, the first part of Vader, and it was, what was it, over $3 million?
Oh,
Yeah, it was a lot.
his first one
Yeah.
was $260,000, and I think the second one's going to be $2 million. Who farted in here?
It's out.
Oh, I had my mouth open and everything.
Oh,
My dog's in here.
it's an evil
tasted
leaper.
it.
Oh no, that was. Whew.
Oh, gosh.
Oh boy.
Dude, did you drop one or did you just? Yeah, God almighty. Oh,
You
Just
talked
all
about
of a
this
sudden
show
that
being
hit-
unpredictable.
that just hit me in the face
Right?
like a 2x4. I was like, oh, oh, gosh. Oh,
Oh
I
my
think I
gosh,
tasted it.
I'm crying.
I think it's on my
Oh
tongue.
gosh.
Oh, I need a cleanser. Hang on. Oh,
Ah,
Oh my goodness.
a little early in the day for that, but ooh.
Mhm.
that was fantastic.
Oh,
Man.
As I was saying, I believe Star Wars Theories actually put out part 2.
He had the he did a like sort of a teaser all in CG. It's wonderful.
Is that what it is?
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it listed. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's fantastic. Go watch
Oh,
it.
yeah,
You know what
definitely.
it is? It's the end of Vader 1 from a different point of view.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. It's so good. Yeah, I can't wait. When he gets that all up, I know he's got a lot of plans with it and everything, but obviously recent times have impacted so many things, but I can't wait for that. So amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes the daggone, and especially recently, the daggone fan fiction films have been better than the actual films.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
Bucketheads.
Oh, that was
Fantastic
great.
fan film. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had the one they put out, and then they did episode 1. So you've actually got 2 different versions. They were both great. And then you've got another one, Lothal Films, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
They did one called My Enemy, which is all CGI, but it's rebels attack Imperial base, and at the end of it, you basically have one rebel trooper and one stormtrooper who basically just talk.
Mm.
They're not friends. I mean, they're still enemies, but you get both perspectives, and both characters see the other perspective, and basically at the end of the episode, they just walk away from each other.
Yeah, well, kind
It
of
was
like
really well
the
done.
Matcave, kind of like the Matcave playing. What was that? Battlefront 2, the Luke scene.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
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 If you guys
It was
haven't
a lot
seen
like that.
video yet, go to his channel and watch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was there for the live stream. It was great.
I
Yeah,
watched
was
some
kinda
of the
fun
live
watching that.
stream. I couldn't stay up the whole time.
I reposted a much better quality version of that that
Mhm.
playthrough, because right after I was like, that didn't go well. I was like, I went right back, replayed it, captured it with a different program. I was like, this has to be HD. But things like that,
Oh,
like, to have character development like that, and opposing characters be able to come together and part ways civilly, it just
Mhm.
shows like Quantum Leap and things that we grew up with had a lot of moments like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I wonder if there was ever. I actually was just googling it. If there was ever any Quantum Leap fan films.
oh, dude, I didn't even think of that.
That's
But
a-
speaking of fan films, that's a good segue. I got the trailer pulled up, so Black Dragon
Oh,
can
for
watch it.
Vader.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I'm gonna get copyright strict for this.
Yeah, I'll go find it. It's like I said, I saw it come across my feed.
I mean, I don't care because
Well, it's,
I'm not
but it's from
monetized yet, so it
Fury,
doesn't
right?
matter. Yeah, it is, but you can't play other YouTubers' content
No.
on your stream.
Oh.
You'll get struck for it.
Yeah, it's don't
So I'll just
even if you're not monetized, I'll find it. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
I've already run across it.
Yeah, because there's like the short teaser that's like a minute, but then there's a longer one. It's a few minutes long. That's really well done. The CG work in it is unbelievable.
I posted it in the chat, and this one's 55 seconds.
Okay, so yeah, that's the teaser there. But then he did a full, like, it's like 4 minutes or so, or something like that, of a really great segue into getting into Vader 2. But that's the thing, like, what the ability.
Yeah,
fans
it's a
have
Mace
with-
Windu,
Yes. Yes.
and it's 3 minutes and 2 seconds long. I saved it. Like I said, I ran across it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Totally worth the watch, and that right there is proof
Yeah,
of
that's the one.
how much power fans have to create things that are interesting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that the level of quality of that, like, is better than some things that we see in mainstream now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I.e., the YouTuber that got hired by Lucasfilm for doing the deep
Yep.
take on Luke.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
so
And see, that's the one thing that I've always just loved about George Lucas is he never, ever said anything or took any actions against the fans making their own films.
He
Which was great
also. No, go ahead.
because if you look at it, how many of these Hollywood studios would allow fans to do stuff like that and not take them to
Mhm.
court for copyright and infringement and all
Oh,
this
they're
other
already
stuff?
doing that with an XR.
Yeah. And George Lucas never did. He encouraged. I mean, we even got a festival that gives out rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one
See,
thing
and
that
another
I
thing he
absolutely
didn't do,
love.
because he was absolutely hammered when he did the prequels.
Yes.
People
Yes.
were going after him because they didn't like it, and he didn't get on social media and downgrade the fans just because they didn't like it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something Disney and new Lucasfilm are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, a matter of fact,
that's what's most aggravating. Isn't so much that you're putting out garbage, which is bad enough, but when you attack the fans who are paying you the money for this, that's there are no words.
yeah. And
Yeah.
when he even did his interviews, in the interviews, they would talk to him about his reaction to the fans' reaction of the films. And he said, this was my vision. I made it. You can like it, basically, and this isn't his exact words, but you can like it or not like it. But this was my vision,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I saw it played out. And I encourage people, if you think you could do a better job, then, go for it.
Yep.
Yep. It makes me wonder that if we got the revival of Quantum Leap, how would Twitter mobs take to that?
They
Would-
destroy it.
Yeah,
how
they
does
would.
that go? How does that play out when let's say you have an episode that's dealing with racism, and the Twitter mobs are all about calling someone racist. But
Yeah, all, 100, 150 of them that like to scream the loudest on Twitter.
with something like Quantum Leap, you get to go, yes, yes, it was, because that was
Uh-huh.
the time. That's what this is about.
Exactly.
It's like put yourself in their shoes. Now go deal with this situation and figure out how do we make the world better.
And
this
this
way.
is showing you this is real racism, what it really looked like, not this
Yep.
stuff that y'all are spouting out now, which is
Exactly.
not. But you're using the word so much it holds no weight anymore.
None of these words do anymore.
Nope. Yeah. Saying woke means nothing to me. I'm like, everything is labeled it. Anything new that comes out instantly gets a stamp of that's woke, it has agenda, it has this. I'm like, it means nothing to me. And I never pay attention to it. I'm like, if it's anything that I was interested in going to see, I'm gonna go see it.
Exactly.
You know, I don't use Twitter, and I don't think I ever will.
About the only thing I use Twitter for is like I just retweeted
Yeah.
Daryl's.
See, that's the only reason I would ever dive into it, is for the sake of trying to do stuff like that, like move things forward in a positive way.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually go to my Twitter feed, I don't post anything. And the only people I follow, Darth Arlena, Daryl the Derelict, Echo Base Network, the Star Wars guy. I only follow like 30 people. And they're all people that I know and trust.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And the only time I get on there is, like I said, I just retweeted Daryl's, bring Sam home.
I was just going to say, maybe it's time I get into the Twitter crowd and start getting that out there, the hashtag.
Yeah.
But I won't get on it again until, something else like this comes up. And then I'll jump on there, retweet it, and I'll leave. I don't want to deal with a majority of the people that are on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's all I do. I see somebody said something or tag me in something, I'll get on there, acknowledge, respond, send a message. I'm off.
Yep.
I don't linger.
Yeah.
Same with like Facebook.
Facebook, same way. Yep.
I get on there, post a couple of memes, and I'm off.
Yeah.
Well, just like what I posted earlier on the Echo Base Network Facebook page. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but it's a picture of the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. And the comment is, I used to watch The Wizard of Oz as a child and wondered how somebody with no brains could talk. Then I got Facebook and Twitter.
Well done, sir. Well done.
It wasn't my meme. It was in my regular face. See, I find these things that'll be on my regular post, and it's from somebody I knew from up north. So it's like, okay, Echo Base Network may not have seen this, so I'll repost it to Echo Base Network because it's relevant there.
Yeah.
And that's just one that was absolutely perfect.
And that's it. Like, I always would, it's such a pet peeve with me, and it drives me nuts. I'm like, the fact that the word tweet has power, like, just blows my mind. But that said, could you imagine if hashtag bring Sam home works?
Oh, dude.
Oh gosh.
Could you imagine? Like, I just got chills saying it. Like,
I'd be verklempt. It's giving me the vapors.
If something like
it all
that,
started
those
here.
crazy things, this little phrase, because this is the world of social media now, so it has power.
Yep.
If that did it, could you imagine?
I'm sorry. I
Imagine
just I'm on Facebook.
Daryl, I think you'd have to be in the
looking at your
episode.
tweet. Your
Oh.
Facebook now. That's funny.
Let's see what Ziggy has to say about it.
But you got to do the little sound effects.
Yeah. Every time he hits it, he's like, oh.
I always loved when it was the half sentence.
Yeah.
He'd read it and it really wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it
there
is.
we go. That's why I want them to keep it so much like that. If they were to revive it, like, keep it that level. Like, just, it doesn't need to advance. Like, I love the charm of the effect of Al walking through the door and leaving the area,
Mhm.
him going through objects. I know it's cheesy, especially now, but it has a charm that it's just, I love it. And
does.
rewatching it now, and every time I see it, it just brings a smile to my face. I'm like,
Oh, they did a great job when Sam became the college professor
mm-hmm.
back in the early 70s.
Yes.
And Al walked through the door into all that neon.
Yeah, he's
And
like,
that
"What is
color
going
scheme
on?"
was just perfect.
It's so good.
And it holds up.
Yes,
Yes, it does.
holds up.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
You know what they did better in this show than most modern things do? A perfect example is the episode where Sam leaps back into himself. He's about a teenager before his brother goes off
The
to
Leap
war.
Home.
The Leap Home.
Episodes 1 and 2 of season 3.
Yes. And Scott Bakula plays Sam's father.
Mm-hmm.
They have them together in the scene. That whole idea of utilizing the split screen and bringing them together, it's seamless. It's as good, if not better, than how it was done in Back to the Future.
See, and that's when you and I also were talking about in the Discord, because the second part of that, because he made the deal with his brother because his brother died originally.
Yep.
And in the second part of that, he leapt into a black man called Magic.
Magic, yep.
And actually saved his brother, and that was the episode where the journalist actually caught a photograph of Al as a POW.
Yep. It's such an amazing setup.
And it was perfect because, Sam's sitting here when he's going through the pictures and looks at Al and goes, "I'm so sorry, I could have saved you, I could have freed you," and Al just looked at him and said, "I was free." Up here.
Up here. Because he ended up, he was like, I was there 5 more years or something.
Yeah.
Like that. He didn't get brought home for some time.
And that's when Beth left him.
Yep. But that's the thing about the finale, too, that was so great, because Sam goes back to Beth and tells her to wait.
Yep.
And she did. I mean, it's just so unbelievable how, as abrupt of an ending as that was, because they had no idea. They were not given a heads up of whether or not they were greenlit for another season. So as Scott Bakula mentioned in that interview, it was like, well, you got to write it and fill all these check marks and make sure you're set.
Right.
Because they didn't know. But to have things wrap up for Al, Al is he's my favorite in the series. I love his
he's my spirit
storyline.
animal.
Yeah, he's just so great.
He's
Everybody
Sam's
needs
too.
him now.
I'll be back.
Well, Greedo and Espeedo has a question for all of us.
Yes,
My
we
answer
did.
is
Yes. I watched it with my mother.
Yeah.
Me and my best friend
Now,
watched it growing up.
I was very young, but I do remember watching it when it originally aired with my mom and dad. It was a ritual. And I watched it when it came on again. And I want to say it was the early 90s in my area. It was re-airing. So I watched it again because, I remembered watching it then. Just like MASH. Same thing. I was very young watching MASH, but when it started to re-air, I started watching it again.
Yeah. And that was one of those series I watched it when it aired. I was about, let's see, that came out in 89, so I was just about to be about 8 years old at that point. I was in that I was young but old enough to appreciate storylines like this. And then in the early to mid 90s, watching it again as it re-aired in repeats and getting a whole different appreciation for the show. And I just kept watching. It's funny. When Netflix first came out and they were doing the hard copy rentals, the first thing I rented from Netflix was Quantum Leap on DVD.
Cool.
Yep. That was the first thing.
Wow.
When it came out in 89, I was 18.
There you go.
And had just got my own place. And that was, I guess, my bond with it initially, because I just got my own place and Quantum Leap came out and it just kind of fit together. So that became my show every week. And I worked night shift. So every evening before I'd get up and go to work, I'd get up a little earlier to watch Quantum Leap and then I'd get ready and go to work. But it And then that was the amazing part is after it went off the air, not long after, they started showing it in reruns.
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
holy
It went
crap,
into
this is
syndication
awesome.
like right away.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And one of the most amazing things about this show was you were guaranteed a cliffhanger every single time.
Yep.
You think about a
Yeah.
lot of shows where it's like every episode you could almost watch them in any order you want because whatever, it was just different stories.
Yeah, this one you couldn't.
It kept going. It was a
Mm-mm.
continuation every single time. Like
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch them out of order, but
Mhm.
it just
It
made
doesn't
more
hold
sense
the
because at the
magic.
end of the episode, they were showing you what was coming next week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what he learned and
Hello,
everything.
Alan. What's
Alan
happening?
Copeland, how are you?
But yeah, it's
You know, and some of the people that he leapt in, such as when he leapt into Dr. Ruth.
that was so funny.
My favorite
As
ones
much
were
of a
always ones
prude
like
as he
the women.
played trying to be a sex counselor on the radio.
Yeah.
And that's another show I used to listen to. They played it here on Sunday nights in the mid '80s. The Sex Talk with Dr. Ruth, and it was the funniest shit I ever heard in my life.
Yep.
Just to hear this little old lady talking to other people about, well, you see, you take the penis and you do this, and it's like, oh my god, it's just. I don't want to get banned from YouTube, so I won't elaborate. But yeah, it was funny, and it
Yeah.
got graphic too. It was on regular terrestrial radio,
All right.
and it
Right.
was graphic on a Sunday night. Yeah, I was like, holy shit, what the hell?
Oh yeah. We
So
grew up
she
in
goes
the
to
right
church
time.
Sunday morning and Sunday night talks about sin.
That's it.
Hey, feel me cracking. I know you've been here the whole time, buddy. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, because the band
I
makeup was
got
similar to
something
Kiss.
for Phil. I'm still listening. Just give me a sec.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that just irritated the hell out of me. It's like, come on. It was a TV show. It kind of resembled Kiss, but it wasn't. You knew it wasn't.
You know,
Yeah.
It was
there's
like,
inspiration of all kinds of things, you know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, hell, it could have been Sting from WCW fronting a band. Who knows?
Who knows?
You know?
Right?
Does he wear makeup like Kiss? Did he get sued? No. He'd have whooped the shit out of him.
Yeah, he did.
Mhm.
Or-
There you go,
or the,
Phil.
The Road
Nice.
Warriors.
No. Wow.
Just for Phil.
Wow. Hold on just a moment. We got to see that in first person. Damn, that's bitching.
Wow.
Oh, that is so bitching.
Oh, Phil
great.
is screaming right now.
And you know he's going to give Coach hell tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
So great. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
And I
they
saw
really
most of those when they originally aired too.
Yep, I saw all of them. Well, because I'm a little old. But yeah, it really freaked me out that I didn't even think about Coach never seeing it because he never saw Star Blazers, but Battle of the Planets. He had no clue
Right.
what it was. He was like, "Oh no, we must educate you, sir."
Yeah.
He
What,
would
94 episodes?
call, Battle of the Planets, I think, was 85.
Yeah, 85.
Yeah, they were supposed to have 95, I think, but the last 10 never aired. But to get back to your thing earlier, Matt, there are Quantum Leap fan films out there.
There are. Okay.
Actually, made
Wow.
one about Princess Diana,
Oh wow.
the day
Nice.
she
Wow.
died. And I was like, and see, that's what was cool. Y'all were bringing up, if they brought Quantum Leap back in a series, is like you could see that, in Pass the Torch, you could see the 90s, the early 2000s stuff.
Mhm.
You had, the first thing that popped into my head was 9/11.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
We have an
could
episode
they
coming
could
there.
broach that subject. I mean, it's just giving me chills now just thinking
Mhm.
about how they could do that. And it's just,
Hmm.
oh my God. And to think about it, a show like that hitting a subject that brought this country together,
Mm-hmm.
appearing on
Mhm.
TV, who knows what it would do?
Yeah, because that's
It
the
might
thing.
make the woke go to sleep.
Maybe because it doesn't have to be moments in history that divided us. It can be moments in history that brought people together.
Exactly.
Well,
You
see,
know?
that's the majority of what the show did anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
even when he leapt into a a young black man who was dating a white woman
Hmm.
and was
Yeah.
being ostracized for it. By the end of the episode, he brought everybody together. That's what he did.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was just, oh man, I can just go on and just, and I tell you, I don't expect any celebrity to ever come on this show. However, if I ever met him, Scott Bakula, I would fangirl. I just start doing
Ditto.
the,
Yeah. Yeah. He's,
oh,
he's honestly he's one of my favorite people on the planet. Like
yeah,
it's just
yeah, he's
he's
just great
great.
in whatever he does.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I mean, if you ever saw Necessary Roughness,
I love
yeah.
Necessary Roughness.
that's great.
Oh my god, him and Sinbad and everything. Oh,
I thought you wanted to party.
yeah. And Robert Loggia.
Oh, get out there, rip off your head, and shit down their neck.
Oh, I love that movie.
God,
It's
it
so
was great.
good.
And it was filmed right here in Denton, not far from me.
Mhm. See,
It's filmed at college.
Greedo and Espeedo brought up a show that's definitely inspired by Quantum Leap. Is Timeless. This
Hmm.
was the whole idea of the idea of time traveling to set wrongs right, except not leaping into people. It's just they're them, but the same that essence, that idea. Really cool show if you've never seen it. It's somebody's
That one I
yes,
haven't seen.
yeah,
I
there's a
haven't
guy
either.
jumping through time, breaking history, and then this group comes in to go fix it. But the thing about time travel is that no matter what, no matter how careful you are, you're inevitably going to change something.
Something, yeah.
So when they get back, they start to hear about the things that they remember differently. Like there was
Yeah.
there was an
Well,
episode
wasn't that
where
also the principle behind, what was it, 7 Days?
Hmm. Which one
I
It
don't
was?
know.
was, I think it was a CW show,
I don't know that
and
one.
it was like a time pod, and something terrible happened, and this guy got into the pod and went back and that's all they could get was 7 days, and he
Okay.
had to fix whatever was screwed up back to the current time period.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that I
Well,
love
have
time travel. Go
have
ahead,
any of
Arlene.
you watched Outlander?
No.
Mm-mm.
Uh-uh.
Okay, it comes on. I want to say it's Showtime.
Okay.
Um, and it's time travel. Um, and the thing that's different about this one is it starts out in the 60s, and they go visit Scotland, and they have think of the oh crap, what is it called? The Stones in England.
The Blarney
Stonehenge.
Stones? Or,
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I couldn't think of it. So they have something like Stonehenge in Inverness, and she goes there to visit. And while she's there, she is somehow transported back to Scotland in the late 1700s.
Hmm.
And she meets someone and falls in love with them. And it goes from there. It's actually a really great series. Um, but it's funny because she tries to stop certain things that she knows in the 1960s happened, like the Battle of Culloden, where
Okay.
so many Scots were wiped out. And even though they delay it, history makes sure that this event happens. So no matter what
Mm.
they try to do to stop it and prevent it, the historical events still occur. maybe delayed, but they
I've seen
always
it
still have
advertised, and I
things
always
that are
mix it up
meant
with
to happen.
the movie Outland.
Oh, that was such a
Yeah,
good
Mm.
no,
movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
I
I've
mean,
seen it advertised. I've seen it advertised, but I've never watched it. Well, kind of like Time Rider, if you guys have ever seen that. It's
mm-mm.
Sounds
oh,
familiar.
I can't think of the actor's name right now.
I don't know that one.
It's who is Fred Ward.
Okay.
He
Oh,
plays a motocross rider. He's riding a dirt bike in some sort of rally, and he passes across some sort of desert scientific, station, and it shoots him back in time to like the 1800s.
Mm.
oh
So
wow.
now you've got all these cowboys on horses, seeing this red dirt bike running across,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what it is. And I mean, it's a really strange twist. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to ruin it.
Mm.
But it's one of those paradoxes,
Hmm.
like the final countdown. What Charlie Sheen brings up, if I'm a time traveler and I go back in time to kill my own grandfather
Hmm.
and succeed, therefore my grandfather isn't born, therefore I'm not born, so how can I go back and kill him if I wasn't
Hmm.
born type of thing. And it's kind of along those lines,
Okay.
Oh man, it'll
where
break your brain just thinking about it.
where
Yeah.
he ends up being his own grandfather.
Wasn't
Oh
that Tom
gosh.
Arnold?
No, it was Fred Ward.
That was a bad movie reference. The Stupids.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I
I
remember
am
that
my
one.
own grandpa.
Leia Rose, I mean, brings up a classic, The Time Machine.
Yes.
When you talk about
Yeah,
paradoxes and
Yeah.
things, just
yeah,
Hmm.
what an amazing storyline. I even think the remake was done pretty well,
yeah. It was
Oh,
done
the
all
remake.
right.
but
I
I
like the
love the
remake
original.
actually better
Um,
because the
Really?
original one brought him to 1979 to face uh, Jack the Ripper,
yeah.
which was good. I mean, it had David Warner in it, and I really, really liked it. But the remake actually kept true to the book, and he went 800,000 years in the future
Yeah.
instead of
Mm.
just 80 years.
That's the thing about time travel stories in general, and it even especially applies to Quantum Leap, is that there tends to be rules in place. There's things that have to happen. Like I always love the idea, like Arlena was bringing up in some things where it's like this is inevitably going to happen. Like
Right.
time
Yeah.
has that power. It's going to happen. And then you have situations, even like okay, so the episode we talked about earlier where the journalist was went to the into battle with the war, and she ended up dying instead. And Sam is just like all I did here was trade a life for a life. This was
Hmm.
time was going to take someone,
Right.
and it ended up
Hmm.
being her instead. And when you have rules in place like that with time travel, it can get tricky. But when
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
good writing that makes it make sense and have those rules,
Mhm.
think about Terminator. The
Yeah.
Terminator 3, which is not that great of a film, but it
No.
makes a very important point of Judgment Day is inevitable. It's like,
Yeah.
all you did
Judgment
was
Day is
delay
going
it.
to happen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you just
Mhm.
delayed it. That was it.
Yep.
And I love that they kept that rule in place. It was like this is even though the films got weird and everything, they kept that intact. So I
Right.
applaud them
Yeah.
for that. It's like you stuck to your guns, you stayed within the rules, and you did it.
Yep.
Right.
Can I
But
get a hell yeah?
you gotta. And Quantum Leap was always big on reminding Sam, don't try to change this, don't try to do this. You're gonna alter things that because him doing his part in the project was because of how his life went and what brought him there. So I
Mhm.
think their fear was if you go and change your life, if you save your father, if you save your brother, if you save your sister from that terrible marriage, if you do all this, what if the project doesn't happen? And then what happens? Because you do have
Right.
time travel stories where you can wipe yourself out if that's what the rules behind it are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, he
So-
actually did save his brother in the end.
He did. Yeah.
Yes,
we
he
don't
did.
see him again. They talk about him later,
Right.
mentioning that he got married
Mm-hmm.
and but yeah, unfortunately we didn't see him again. I wish we did.
No. Yeah, that was a good character.
Hmm. Yeah, Tom was a good character. He was really good.
So in Outlander, you guys, it is on Showtime, and the main actor in it is Sam Heughan. You might know him from Bloodshot if you watched Bloodshot
I
with
didn't
Vin
see
Diesel.
That was recent, right? That was like last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. They do have it as a drama, and it is kind of a drama, but the first 2 seasons, it's not a whole lot of drama. It's mostly historical stuff going on. That's what got me into it. And then it really becomes a drama. But then the last season, coming into the next season, we see the seeds being laid for the Revolutionary War. And the new season that's getting ready to come out, we're actually going to enter into the Revolutionary War. So they've gone
That's what
from
this
Scotland
trailer
all the
looks
way to
like.
America. Yeah. And that's the
Yeah,
whole
'cause
thing
it's
is this show tells you, like you said, no matter what you try to do, these things are inevitable. The Battle of Culloden was inevitable. The Revolutionary War is inevitable. No matter what you try to do, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
did any of y'all ever see
But
the movie Timeline?
Timeline with
your
Paul
wives
Walker.
will definitely like the
Yes.
shows.
Timeline's
I
a good
really
movie.
love the premise of that movie.
Yeah.
How they learned to fax people to the past.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, it had Gerard Butler in it.
Yep. They had to go back and save him. He was back
Billy
in
Connolly.
16 whatever he landed in, and then
Yeah, it's like the French
Mm-hmm.
Revolution, right before it started off. And
I
it's
love stuff like that where it's like someone was able to leave clues in the past to alert
Yeah.
someone in the future.
Yeah, that
Oh.
was so cool how they did that. If y'all haven't seen Timeline, give it a watch. It's really good.
Yeah, that's a good movie. That one went under the radar. That one, not a lot of people talked about.
Yeah,
but-
Neil McDonough's in it too.
Yep. Neil McDonough's like in everything. When you
Yeah.
start watching things, he's just in everything.
Oh, he's in the remake of Walking Tall with The
Mhm.
Rock.
Yep.
Oh, he's a
Like-
bad guy
like
now.
Kevin
He's
Bacon.
good.
Yeah.
Like Kevin
6 degrees to Neil McDonough.
Oh, if you like those, have you guys seen one called Frequency?
Oh, I love
Yes.
Frequency
Yes.
with
Love that
Dennis
Oh,
Quaid.
that is such
Yep.
a good movie.
Love
Oh
that
my
movie.
god.
Jim
that's
Caviezel.
such a good
I mean,
movie.
one of the best parts was when he sent the wallet into the future.
Yep. Lift
You
up
put
the
it under the
seat.
floorboard right now, and immediately, oh, I got it. Wow.
Dude, that movie hits you like right in the feels, man.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, Leah Rose brought up another one. Somewhere in Time.
Oh, geez.
Time.
Don't even get me started on that one.
That was so good.
I showed that movie to my wife. I said, listen, this is Somewhere in Time is one of my favorite films of all time. And the reason I showed it to her is because before she ever saw it, before she even knew what it was, her favorite episode of American Dad is a spoof of Somewhere in Time. I was like,
Oh wow.
you need to watch this film. It's amazing. And like, it's got Christopher Reeve. I know you love him. So watch this. And she ended up really loving that film.
Oh, yeah. And you cry at the end no matter what.
No matter what. Oh,
You can
gosh.
see it 100 times. You're going to cry at the end.
Yep.
Oh.
See, me and my wife, we always joke we're like time travel junkies. Like we'll watch anything with time travel in it. It's
Well, look, definitely watch Outlander with your wife because I guarantee
Will
you
do.
she'll love it more than you do because it is
Nice.
geared towards more female watchers. But
okay.
if you like the time travel and historical stuff, the first 2 seasons are just the best.
Yeah. I gotta check that out. Yeah, I definitely will. That's something that it's like right up our alley. Like that's why we give stuff a chance that a lot of people write off. Like we started watching a bunch of the Arrowverse stuff, the DC shows, and my favorite one in the bunch is Legends of Tomorrow, and they're bouncing around
Yeah.
time doing all this stuff. I think it's just the funnest show, and I know these shows get a lot of crap and everything. They're whatever. They're CW shows, so you gotta expect
Yeah.
elements to it. But anything with time travel, I mean, I love when something is laid out with a set of rules, and then I just sit there kind of paying attention to, are you following the rules you just laid out? Are you staying intact with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into the next movie I wanted to talk about with time travel. I was hoping the Star Wars Obsession would get my message, but unfortunately, I just messaged him like a minute ago.
Oh,
I forgot to message him before the show.
you got to hit
Which
that
I was-
send
no.
button.
Huh?
You got to hit that send button after you write it.
Well, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. But well, Alan Copeland brought up another one, Doctor Who.
Doctor
There
Who.
you go. Oh, we've talked
And-
about Doctor Who so much.
Mhm.
And Eddie, Time Bandits. I
Oh,
just
you
picked
just
that up
watched
the other
it?
day. God, I love that movie.
Do not drop this. It is pure evil. Love that movie.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Didn't Kenny
Wow.
Baker was in that, right? Who will be
Yeah.
on EBN later?
yeah,
Yeah.
Kenny Baker. He was Fidget.
Yep, right. Yes.
Yeah.
He was the one that died at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Oh, hey.
Well, technically, he didn't.
That's
die.
all
He was
right.
sleeping
Paul,
on
the Star Wars guy, isn't here, so probably pretty
Yeah.
much everybody
Yeah.
else has seen it.
Right. Every time we talk to Paul, he adds to that list.
We'll see, and that's what I was
Right.
going to bring up about Coach. You know, he hadn't seen Star Blazers. He has not seen Battle of the Planets. So I was like, wow, Coach is kind of. He needs to be educated too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, you hadn't seen Ronin Warriors.
Oh, he left.
As it
my
disappears. Uh-oh.
We lost the host.
Oh, no. Well, I guess the co-host takes over now.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is your show now.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, well. That was quick.
This was Arlena's moment.
It was like, man, he called
Damn
me
it, man.
out.
Well, like I said, I'm getting all that together. I'll send you the discs with all. You know, it'll have Star Blazers, Battle of the Planets, and Ronin Warriors.
No, dude, I am so excited.
Ronin
So excited.
Warriors.
My wife is not,
That's-
but I am.
Sounds, that sounds familiar.
Is Samurai Armor.
Hey, two Star Wars nerds.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Mr. Two Star Wars nerds.
There we go.
Hello,
So
Mr.
The mustache
Two
has
Star Wars nerds.
arrived.
yes. I
It
think
is
I
a
know
good
what I'm
show.
gonna do. And
Yeah, out of the 97 episodes you've seen 2, yeah, you need to watch it.
there's some catching up to do.
Good. God, it's so good.
So I've been considering starting up my own Discord for the sake of primarily watch parties, because I have tons of hard copies of everything, and that's how
Yep.
I would present it. Get it? I don't want to stream
Yeah.
on top of a stream. I'm going to
Right.
play the hard copy.
See, that's the way I am.
What I think I'm going to do is for the first set of watch parties, once I get the Discord up and running, is going to be Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Hell yeah.
And I will
There we
happily
go.
stream this entire series to anyone
Later,
who's
buddy.
willing to sit through it. And
Thanks for coming, man.
especially two Star Wars nerds. Come on, yeah, you'll love this show. I promise you.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
that is a Matcave promise that you will fall in love with this show.
Yeah, when I started my Discord, Phil McCracken's like, Star Blazers watch parties? I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes. We're like, well, I just got to get the hard copies, and Black Dragon is going to take care of that for me. So.
Yeah, if you give me a second, let me share my screen here.
Oh gosh, I just went through and counted my how many discords I have already. What's one more?
I'm
Yeah.
starting
I have
I have to
20.
scroll now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have 20
in like
discords that I'm on.
Oh,
Yeah, I caught up to you. I'm
it's so
like
good,
20.
though.
Oh
I look
gosh.
at Discord more than I ever looked at Facebook. Like, it's
Oh
just
yeah.
so much more fun.
Well, not only that, but on Discord, it's people that you actually want to talk to.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Well, there's page one.
Is this the episode lineup?
Well,
Wow.
this is what I've got.
Oh, this. Oh, okay. Yeah. You have it all on your server, right?
Not on a server. I've got it backed up to DVDs
Nice. There you go.
in MP4 format. I've digitized everything I own. But we're going, I mean, 24, Three's Company, Adam 12, I've only got one season of, Adam's
Star Trek.
Family,
Yeah, I didn't know you had
Airwolf,
Oh my God, you got
Battlestar.
Airwolf?
Yeah, all 3 seasons. All 4
Oh
seasons,
my God,
excuse
that
me.
was the best.
That's what I'm saying. It's up on screen. The way I've got this set up is the episode, how many seasons it ran, how long the episodes were, and then in parentheses, season 1 had 12 episodes, season 2 had 22 episodes, season 3 had 22 episodes. And I mean, you just keep going. It's, let's see.
Oh, this is awesome. Dude, you're a freaking legend.
Oh, what else do you have up
No
there?
doubt, man.
I
God.
can't
This
see it
is
on my screen.
7 pages long.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, all the way down WKRP in Cincinnati, Walker, Texas Ranger, Warehouse 13,
Nice.
Thunder in Paradise, both the 2003 and 2008 Clone Wars, Stargate Atlantis, Infinity, SG-1, Universe, all the Star Treks,
Oh my gosh.
Sons of Guns, Sons of Anarchy, Space 1999,
Oh, such
Love
a
Sons of
Lois and
Anarchy.
Clark, Logan's Run, Lost in Space,
Love Lost in Space.
Wait, Lost
Both-
in Space.
both-
Logan's Run was good too.
So
both
great.
series of Knight Rider, the 82 and the 2008.
You mean the Mustang commercial in 2008?
Yeah. Highway to
Wow.
Heaven, Highlander, Hercules,
Highlander.
Legendary Journeys.
There can be only one.
I've got 4 seasons of the 1977 Fantasy Island.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
I've got the
Dude.
1998 remake of Fantasy Island.
Oh no.
Farscape, the 1990s version of Flash. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, all the CSIs, Cobra. Like I said, this thing is 7 pages long.
Dude, you know
Oh
what?
my gosh.
Can you reach out to Tron and just ask if you can borrow and update your name to Legendary Black Dragon?
No.
And this
doubt.
list,
Yeah.
this list isn't
Yes.
even complete because it does not include the Bad Batch, which I have all 16 episodes of. I've got
Wow.
2 seasons of Star Trek Discovery. I quit watching after
Oh,
season
I'm
2. I
so
couldn't
sorry.
stomach it anymore.
I'm so sorry.
I've got the, I think the pilot episode of Picard, but I wasn't going to go any further than that. You know, so I don't have the Expanse on here, and I've got all of the Expanse. You know, so this list isn't actually complete.
But
Dang, that's a lot.
it's
How about-
damn near close.
Really.
But I've been doing this. I've been collecting for years and
Yeah.
just digitized everything into MP4 format because my both my CD player and my DVD player and my Blu-ray player have little jacks for USB sticks,
Yep.
and they'll read the MP4 and AVI file format. So I can put like the entire series of Quantum Leap on one thumb drive.
Oh, wow.
Stick and plug it in and just hit play and it'll go episode by episode.
Yep.
You know,
That's
one
like
after
years
another.
ago, I had the Pioneer used to make a TiVo unit that had a built-in DVD writer.
Yeah.
So, and I had that unit for years. So I would record some series and then rip it right to the disc.
My primary and backup computers have Blu-ray writers.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the way to do it now. Honestly, because you can keep it as uncompressed as possible. That's the thing. Right? I remember
There
a
it
lot of
is.
people hated with the editions of Blu-rays of some stuff because they're like, "Oh, there's no bonus features." I'm like, "Yeah, but the reason was because they used all that space for the uncompressed video and audio to
Yep.
get that quality. And then you get additions to get a second disc, and usually it's just a DVD at that point with the bonus features on it, which is fine.
I mean, do you know what a cake box is, don't you?
Which,
as far as computers go?
No.
Okay, you've got CDs, and they'll come in a round tube.
Yeah.
You know, you buy 100 in a tube.
Yeah, in the stack.
That tube is called a cake box.
Oh, okay. I didn't really.
Oh,
I got plenty of those.
I didn't know that.
I've got 100 of them.
Oh my God.
Full.
Oh my gosh.
Full.
Okay,
Movies, TV
Black
shows,
Dragon.
computer programs. I mean, everything's on backup. I run an Excel program where, I mean, I can't go looking, you know, I want to find this and I got to go through this. I put it in an Excel program and just do a quick search to find out what box it's in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even got a copy of Windows 11.
Wow.
It's going on Mama Bear's computer.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Phil's hunting you now. I didn't even notice it until he said that. I was like, oh hell yeah, the Common Empire, dude.
Yep, that's season 3. No, season 2.
Black Dragon.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Remix.
I'm sure of everyone on this panel, you will know what I'm talking about. Do you happen to have Dark Shadows, the original?
Give me 1 second. I believe so.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh my God.
Spooncock is in the house.
Hey.
Welcome, Spooncock.
Mhm.
Is he the
Oh,
future feeder of the Earth?
The feeder of the earth. There is no spoon.
Oh, I don't have the original yet. I've got the 1991 remake.
That one was okay. The original is where it's at.
My mother watched the original when I was like
Yeah.
2 years old.
Yeah, yeah. We watched it. My mom watched it when she was little as well. She was like a
Hey!
preteen or something.
What's up?
And then we started rewatching it when the Sci-Fi Channel first came out. She got me into it, and I was so into it. My oldest daughter's name is Angelique.
That was my mother's soap opera.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I mean, she
it
didn't
was
get into the normal days of our lives, and you know, that was her soap opera. Of course, my mother loved vampire stories.
Oh yeah. I love
Speaking of
vampires.
vampire stories, do either of y'all subscribe to Mandy Summers?
No.
No.
Look her up. She just did a. Oh God, that's distracting me. Hold on, Gloomcock. She just did. I don't know if it's an animated. It's comic, but it's about Jack the Ripper.
Okay.
But he's a vampire hunter.
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and it's really, really interesting. And she was talking about it the other day, and I was like, dude, I think the link is on her YouTube page, Mandy Summers.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, but it sounds really good.
Shit. You know, my it's funny that you say that because my favorite movie of all times, believe it or not, is not a Star Wars movie. But my
haven't
number
talked Star
one
Wars all day.
all-time- all right. My number one all-time favorite movie is Bram Stoker's Dracula. I
Great
freaking
film.
love that.
Oh, I do know who she is.
Yeah. I just want to point out something.
She's on Midnight Edge.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
is that who that is?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought the name sounded
Yeah, she's
familiar.
Okay.
she's the one that sits provocatively in her chair and is wearing a shirt that's about 2 sizes too small.
Yes. And she knows it.
Yeah, you can tell she knows it.
Hey!
She's a big one. Every super chat that comes in, she's doing this
Yeah.
or at her forehead. I know who she is.
I got to say this. this stream has been blessed today. First, we had the mustache of Mr. Two Star Wars nerds. Now we got the mustache of Coffee on Corbin.
Oh yeah.
Plus, we got Spooncock and Gloomcock in the house. I'm done. I can retire. We've made it.
It's a party now, man.
Oh, here's a question for
Hell
you,
yeah.
Black Dragon.
I got those.
Oh gosh.
I don't know about the droid cartoon. I do have the 2 Ewok movies. I've even got the Christmas special.
Mm. Yeah. The
Do
holiday.
you?
Oh, God. I've
We're
thought
gonna
about
have
doing a
to
stream
do
about that.
Discord. We're
A
gonna
watch
have
party
to do a
of the
Discord.
holiday special.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yep.
Don't. Okay. I'll be
Yeah,
right back. I got to check
to.
them.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Oh man, what a terrible moment in history. Imagine Sam Beckett leaped into George Lucas at the time of that holiday special coming out.
Oh,
He could
geez.
change it.
The only thing
I mean,
remember
I
George
watched it when it
Lucas
came
said
out,
about
and
it.
I loved it at that age. But now that I'm older, yeah, that's something you want to forget.
The only thing George Lucas has ever said is if he could get every copy of it and destroy it, he would.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
Yes, it was.
And
But it's
I just wanted to
it's
point
so
something out
terrible,
that
it's good.
yeah, something that is incredible about what's happening right here. I just want to point out it's August 14th in the year 2021.
Yep.
And we're talking about shows like Quantum Leap, old Star Wars shows and movies, Star Trek, everything. The things with Doctor Who, everything we've brought up here. It's the year 2021, and these are the shows we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What shows from, say, late 90s to early 2000s and on get this type of, like, what? Nothing excites people anymore the way it used to. And
No.
I feel like I'm so happy that I grew up in the time that I did, because I feel like I got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was just between everything that my father showed me, and I was watching the shows with him that he grew up with, and then everything that I got going forward. Now there's nothing to that Quantum Leap level anymore. And that's why we're talking about it. That's why we're so many decades later talking about it and still getting excited about it now, because that's how good they were. That's how good these shows were. Green Lantern says maybe Fresh Prince.
Well, and you know what's so funny is I was thinking the same thing. You said late 90s, early 2000s. I was thinking the only thing that really had any impact were comedies, sitcoms.
Yeah.
Sitcoms, yeah.
The Fresh Prince, like what was it, TGIF, all those shows.
Everything in the TGIF lineup, those are things that are gonna just, for that time frame, it was perfect for that moment. We had that entire lineup of things like, I don't know if Fresh Prince was on there, but there was like Full House, Growing Pains, and
Growing Pains. No.
No, I don't have Growing Pains, but I do have Full House.
Yeah. What was the one I'm trying to think of?
The one with Urkel.
Family Matters. That's
Family Matters.
Family Matters. Step by Step. All this stuff that was together in that.
Tool Time.
Yeah.
Home Improvement.
And the thing, there's actually, it was a comedy. It really was. And Tim was the bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
However, they did it so well when Jill's father died. And I mean, he just screwed everything up every episode. But when her father died, he did absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He took care of everything. He did exactly what he was supposed to, and you believed it, even though he was the bumbling idiot. You actually, this is the man that, is the idiot, but taking care of everything so perfectly. I mean, it was great.
Yeah. Sitcoms at that time, they always had those moments. Because overall you're watching a comedy, but when they hit those emotional beats,
Yep.
it was done right. Think about Full House, for example. Uncle Jesse's was it his grandfather, great grandfather, came over from Greece or wherever he was, and the kids all got to know him, and then he passed, and this whole the episode became about that, and it still had its comedy moments and everything, but they hit those emotional beats the right way.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when all that stuff happened with his father. And that was such an emotional episode. But it hit, like you said, it hit all the right notes.
Yeah. Because you had good writing, you had people who cared about what they're doing, and then you have the right people on screen portraying these characters. And they're going to live forever in our minds, in our hearts. This is what we grew up with, and that's what makes it so perfect. There's a lot of stuff that it's very dated when you look back at it, and it's always going to be there, but it's the message they're getting across. That's what really will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
And they did it well back then.
Yeah, they did. They did so
They
well.
did it without beating you in the face with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't shoving a message or agenda down your throat. It was just, it played out organically.
The message was there.
It was there. The message was there.
But you had to be intelligent enough to pick up on it. Unfortunately, a lot of what we have today, people just aren't that smart anymore. Not today's generation.
That's the thing. Unless the message is shoved down your throat, it's not getting through.
And that's not to say everybody in today's generation is stupid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that.
But the majority. No, I'm just gonna...
I mean, well, you've got these things. These greeters at Walmart, and the big controversy is whether you have to show a receipt. Because they sit at the door. Can I see the receipt? Well, I'm the type of a-hole. I just look at them, say, "Have a nice day," and I walk out the door. I have no legal obligation to show you a receipt. The only time that I have recently was I had to redo my kitchen. I mean, I'm looking at a 15-year-old deep fat fryer that's been sitting in storage.
Oh gosh.
I had to go get my microwave went out, so I picked up a microwave and a new deep fat fryer and a new skillet, So I'm picking up what you would consider big ticket items.
Yeah.
I spent like $300 on kitchen stuff. Well, being there, they are big items. I was going to be nice, and I handed the receipt to her to let her look at it. There were two of them there, and neither one of them could read the receipt.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
What is that?
Okay, if you can't read the receipt, why are you asking for it?
Right?
Most of the time it's just I go in with my Mountain Dew, and being the Mountain Dew isn't bagged because it's in boxes. I need to see a receipt. No, ma'am, you don't. And out the door I walk. By their own policy, they can't do anything other than, excuse me. And I just keep walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in freaking.
The way I look at it, the only one that I actually have an obligation to show that receipt to is the person that bagged my groceries. Oh, that was me.
What'd you say,
Isn't
Renata?
it Washington? I think it's Washington or Oregon, one of those places. They just passed a law that says kids don't have to graduate high school with any math or reading skills. They're not requiring math or reading skills to graduate anymore.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They'd never make it in my job.
Yeah.
They'd never make it in most jobs. But again, you look,
I
look at where
retread
it's at.
tires. And the second thing you do with a tire is you strip all the old tread off. and I actually have to measure the tire to figure out how wide it is, and then I have to punch numbers into a computer to say this is how wide the tire is, this is how deep you have to go. One of the computers is standard. So I get an 8.5-inch tire. I punch in that it's 8.5 inches wide and it's got to go down this far. The other machine, because I run both of them at the same time, is metric. So I have to bounce back and forth between machines, and trust me, I've screwed up a couple of tires because I punched the wrong numbers in there because I'm thinking the other machine. And my boss comes in and just laughs and walks away.
Oh,
Well, and you
Of
know,
course,
it's funny. Phil McCracken here says today's schools don't teach handwriting. Kids can't sign their own name.
Yeah. Oh, we've
Okay,
got a
this
kid
is
like
my
that.
well. This is my theory. I actually have a theory on why they stopped teaching cursive writing in schools. How is the Declaration of Independence and Bill of Rights written?
Yep. Now
It's
they
in
can't read
cursive.
it.
You can't read cursive. You don't know what your Bill of Rights and what your Constitution of the United States says.
Yep.
Just
That's
a
crazy.
just a conspiracy theory, but I think that's why they started doing that.
That's a damn
Because you
good
get
theory.
these generation that aren't going to know. How are they going to know?
No,
You know
they're
what?
They're going to
trying
know
to
what
put
you
today's
think.
generation to sleep so they don't know how bad they're being bent over.
Yeah.
Look, come our day when we're in the retirement home, if we need to send secret messages past the help, all the young kids, we just write a secret message in an ancient language known as cursive. We just
Yeah.
pass the notes. They'll
Well,
never know what we're talking about.
The modern
Or
day.
look,
Ablish.
Yeah.
I taught all three of my kids cursive writing because when my oldest daughter, who is now 27, when that was when they took it out of schools here, um, was when she was in school, and it used to be taught in third grade, I think. And when I found that out, I was livid, and I said, "No, y'all are gonna learn how to write your name. Y'all are gonna learn cursive handwriting." So I bought books and stuff, and I taught them cursive handwriting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
just, I don't know what they're teaching nowadays. I
it's,
know
I
they
don't
want
know
to
either.
teach this, what is it?
Critical race theory.
Yeah, critical race theory, which is nothing more than the teachers telling students, you're worthless because of the color of your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
yeah, so the videos about that being put through different companies and people are required to watch this video about it. It's just crazy.
And a lot of the normal
Mm-hmm.
people are homeschooling their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
don't want them indoctrinated into this bullshit.
Yeah. Like I would
Mm-hmm.
love to take. I'll put a twist on it because I posed this question in Discord, like a week ago or so, and the question was if you knew you were going to quantum leap and you had 6 months to prepare, what skills would you brush up on, learn, things like that? But the
I
twist I would put
answered
on
you.
is what would current generation think to learn? They have to
Bitcoin.
like we like
Yeah.
okay, if the rules were bent a little bit and you're not just traveling within your own lifetime, if you have to go back, say at least 20 years before your own time, if it was current generation, what skills would they even think to go try to learn beforehand?
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't know.
Okay, you take somebody in today's generation and you send them back to the 70s.
Mm.
And the only thing on their mind is this,
Yeah,
which didn't exist in the 70s.
doesn't exist.
Nope.
They wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, they better hope they got a damn
It'd be
good
lost.
owl with them.
Phil, not to correct you, I don't doubt that, but it's China.
Yeah,
They're,
definitely China.
yeah. Holy shit, it's a China.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
don't care.
I tweeted, I
I'm
retweeted something.
Red Dawn.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
retweeted something a while back, and It says the freedoms you surrender today are the freedoms your grandchildren will never know existed. And
Yep.
I just think that's perfect. That's why I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure my kids were raised with good values and common sense thinking and know how to do research outside of the internet. Different the shit that we learned when we were growing up. So that should the shit hit the fan, they'll still be able to survive.
I'm sorry, Phil. I misunderstood this as you were talking about what we're going through now, and I just reread it and understood. I'm stupid.
Okay. Yeah.
My bad.
Well, it's just like a meme that I saw, and it was perfect. It had 3 panels, and in the top panel, it was just the date 2020, and there were 2 masks over the zeros.
Mhm.
And then the next panel was 2021, and there was a mask over the 0 and a hypodermic needle over the 1. And the third panel was 2022, and it was a picture of The Walking Dead.
That reminds me of that other that other meme of Vincent D'Onofrio, or however you say his name, from the first Men in Black movie,
Mm.
when he's standing there looking, horror,
Yeah.
and it's saying waiting for the 56th variation of the.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Oh.
Matcave. I don't know if you've ever played Homefront. Have you ever played Homefront?
That was an older game, right? I think I've played
Yeah,
Homefront.
there's actually 2 of them. They
It
left
was
the
like
first one off, left room for a second one, and they did make a second one. Wasn't as
okay.
widely known as the first one, but Homefront, um, it was weird because the timing of it was almost perfection.
Mm.
When it came out just prior to Korea doing all their crazy stuff, and the basis of the game is Korea invades the U.S. and we have to fight
Wow.
them off because we have a Second Amendment right. Most citizens have guns, so it's citizens taking up arms
Yep.
and fighting
Mm.
off the daggone Koreans. And it
Wow.
came out. It's crazy. If you haven't played Homefront, it is a fantastic game.
I gotta
And
check
the
that
way it
out. I
ends,
wonder if that's on
it
Steam.
leaves it open for the second one. Second one is not nearly as good as the first one, but it is such a good game. And the story that's behind it is so plausible. It's just like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
can't believe this. But it really could happen.
I'm glad I live where I live because the governor of this state has some balls.
Yes, sir, he
You must live
does.
in Florida.
No,
Texas.
Oh, yeah.
his balls aren't as
Texas is
big
big too.
as your governor or as the governor of Florida, but
They're
they're right up.
close.
They're right up there.
Yeah,
Moff
yeah.
I mean,
wristband.
he just passed a new law regarding concealed carry.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Solar flare away
Right?
from where we live.
Mhm.
And the problem is, most people today don't know how to live like the Amish.
Nope.
Nope.
That's the
They
thing.
would
Like,
not
what
survive.
happens if you leap and you're Amish?
There you go. Bring him full
Now-
circle. Thanks.
Now it doesn't
Now,
even matter.
didn't he
Well-
jump
Where you
into
went
an
to.
Amish person once?
Did he? I'm trying to remember.
I don't
I don't remember
recall.
if he did. If he
I
did,
want to
I'll
say
see
he
if
did in one episode.
He might have. See, that would be a
Well,
fun,
anywhere from Cali's better.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
I
stationed
know.
there for many years, and I was glad to get out of there.
Who you
And that
telling?
was back in the 90s.
Yep. I was stationed there from 98 to 06. I was so happy to get out of there. Oh my gosh.
My last posting in California was at Naval Station Mare Island in Vallejo, California,
Mm.
Oh, who?
which is now a gated community.
Wow, really? Oh god.
Oh yes.
Dude, Alan's from Arkansas.
Oh,
You know,
Kansas.
legally,
Oh,
you can go to jail for that.
Only in their state, not this one. We don't give a shit.
Well, I know, but I mean, that's literally a law on the books. If you mispronounce it like that, you can get fined for it.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
oh my God, are you serious? Oh,
Yes.
that's funny.
But see, people that really get to know me know I make fun of everything and everybody.
Yep, me too.
It's just something I do. There's
Yeah.
no offense behind it. There's no malice intent or anything like that. I just
No,
make
I'm
fun
just
of
being
it.
a smartass.
That was part of our training growing up.
Exactly.
That's
just
how we
in my nature.
survived.
Yes. To get getting beat up by a pack of football players, you had to make them laugh.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
started.
I think I don't know if I don't think I posted this one on EBN yet. It's a picture of Grogu, and the caption is sarcasm because murder charges are expensive.
Nice.
Oh, Phil's on board with us. Hey, no offense, Alan. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Arkansas,
I've
Arkansas.
Yeah. I've always
Well-
Kansas.
Because if you say I'm going to Consol, it's like, well, who's sad? Who are you going to console?
Wow, dude.
No, I'm going to Kansas. Oh, so it's like hey, you can do it from both sides. So
Yeah.
What? Just like Massachusetts. I've always called it Massachusetts.
yeah, and pronounce Mississippi like Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
Well, see, I lived up until recently. I lived on the Arkansas side.
That's right, you did.
And one thing I noticed, because eBay added taxes to the purchases, I moved from the Arkansas side to the Texas side, and my taxes went down on the eBay purchases.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
the only thing I'm missing is I bought Mama Bear a mouse pad that has Grogu and Din Djarin on it.
Nice.
That's the only thing that hasn't come in yet, so I can start on this build.
You know what mousepad Mama Bear really needs? Is one
What's
with
that?
Omega and Nick.
The problem is they don't make it. I looked.
Oh,
I actually looked for a Bad Batch mouse pad. I thought about that one too.
This is the one I'm actually using
Yeah.
as we speak. It is ratty. It is old.
There you go. Ooh, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an original one from '99 right there.
Yeah, and it looks it. So, but that's what I still use.
Mm-hmm. You know, kind of bringing things back around
Nice.
too again. Quantum Leap had its share of Star Wars references. In
Yes.
fact, there's an episode where he leaps into a young man with Down syndrome, and the younger brother
Twice, doesn't he?
Jimmy.
I think it's twice.
Yes.
Jimmy.
Yes,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
And there's a scene where the younger brother or whoever, I guess it would be his cousin at that point, wasn't going to sleep, so he lays him down and tells him the story of Star Wars.
Yep.
And it was like 1964 or something like that in the story. But the references, because oh my god, how tempting would it be? Like, how do you not tell someone about Star Wars?
You know
If you're
what
a
would have
time
made that
traveler.
episode better? Is if his cousin was named George.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would've been
It's
great.
oh, dude.
Because they did that with one episode for a singer, I believe.
Oh, Buddy Holly.
Yeah, that was it.
He gave him the lyrics to Peggy Sue.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because he was singing Piggy because when he was the doc on the ranch and
Yep.
take care of the pig. He's like, maybe change it to Peggy Sue instead of Piggy Sue.
I agree, Phil. I would love that. What Black Dragon has behind him on a mouse pad. That'd be awesome. And unfortunately, I could probably 3D print a housing to form
Yeah, but it wouldn't.
I can
It's a
make it out
different
of
texture.
Yeah.
not epoxy, but silicone. I can make a form to make one out of silicone with it embossed and everything, but I don't know if it would work. I wouldn't be able to emboss it really because your mouse would be going. It'd be like driving down a 4-wheel drive road.
Oh, mine wouldn't.
Can you 3D print like a Ziggy control pad?
Yes.
There you
Yes. Yes. I'm looking that up right now.
go.
That's a
Oh, that's
device
great.
too throughout the show that changed. In the beginning, it was just like this flat piece of plastic with a little bit of lines and dots and stuff on it. And then over time, as episodes went on, and it didn't take long, it's the control pad Al was holding changed until he
Mhm.
eventually got that like blocky looking light up one with the
Yeah, it
the
looked
red
like
and green.
Legos that lit up.
Yeah, but it changed over time. You keep an eye on what Al's holding. The control pad is different in almost every early episode.
Let's see.
They just did so well with that show.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you go back and say, "Oh, this is dated. This doesn't," it still holds up.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that because each episode is a period piece, it holds up because it's like this takes place here. Like, so now everything is right. Oh, did you find one?
Oh my! Hold on, just a moment. Let me do this, and do this, and do that.
Must have
and
found
do
something
this,
You found something.
Yeah, he
and do
did.
that. There it is.
Oh,
There it is.
There it is.
I have found it, and I'm about to download it.
That is great.
Oh
See,
my god!
That's
Wow.
something that like you have just on a shelf. Just see who notices.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
it'd be
Like,
cool, just
who
sitting
knows what
nonchalant
this
right
is?
behind me.
good.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Yeah, have somebody
Just
walk in
download
and go, "Oh, Al's pad. Okay,
Yeah.
you're welcome here."
all right, man. I'd never even thought of that, but now I have it.
Oh,
That's so awesome.
wow.
Man.
There were just so many great episodes in that, no matter how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the best ones were the multi, trilogy and
Yep.
the two-parter with where he kept leaping and kept leaping into Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
Just the ones that covered multiple weeks were some of the best that they had.
Yep. I'm actually just checking because my wife's in season 3 right now, and I think that's season 4. The Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah, it's not in this.
No,
one.
season 5.
Is it season 5? Oh, okay.
Episodes 1 and 2 of season 5. Lee Harvey Oswald Part 1 and Part 2, October 5th, 1957 through November 22nd, 1963, were the episode dates.
Yeah. The one thing I wish that this set
My
came
favorite.
with, because all the episodes are printed on the disc itself. There's no booklet with this one. That was my one disappointment with this
Aw.
set, because I love having those little collector books and stuff that comes with box sets.
Right.
But the label of the discs is the list of the
Gotcha.
episode. That's it. I mean,
Well, see, I go to a place called EP Guides,
yeah,
and it's a list of every television show basically they've ever put out
yeah.
Oh wow,
in alphabetical order.
nice.
Return of the Evil Leaper. She's not home yet. I can say stuff like that. If I spoil this show for her, she's gonna kill me.
Yeah, I'll bet.
She's not allowed to watch this
At least until she's done watching them.
until she's done watching. Then
Yeah.
that's it.
Those were my favorite ones with the JFK episodes. Those were my
Yeah.
favorite.
So good.
Yep.
and tense. God, they were tense.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like you could just feel it.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was just like scooting up on my seat. It's like, okay, come on.
Oh yeah. There's
Yeah.
tons of moments where you're like, how the hell is he going to get out of this?
Yeah.
It's just-
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not really tense moments, but like when he was the rainmaker,
Mhm.
and then he figured out how to launch something up into the sky to help make it rain.
Yeah.
Some kind of hydrochloric acid concoction.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on
Even-
the other day, too.
Another show that was time travel, and y'all might have seen it. It wasn't really a show; it was kind of a mini series, I guess. 11/22/63.
Oh, with the I didn't finish it. With what's his name from the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
Why
Oh
am I- I'm
gosh, I
having a
can't
brain
think of his
fart.
name either.
What's his name?
Tom Holland.
No, for the
No.
older ones. From the he played.
Tobey Maguire.
Oh, Maguire.
Yeah, but it was
No.
his buddy, Green Goblin's son,
Oh.
James Franco.
Yeah.
James Franco. Yep.
I
James
almost
Franco.
said Pineapple Express, but yeah.
I was thinking Annapolis.
Hmm. I
That,
didn't finish that miniseries. I went we watched because I think there was 10 episodes, and we watched 5 or 6 of them. I got to restart it and watch from the beginning. But what a
It was
great premise
really
that
good.
was. Yeah.
It was really good. Really good. I thought it was anyway.
I posted the
very-
episode guide link in a private chat.
Oh, nice.
See that?
And that'll take you to the main page, and it'll give you boxes of different places you can go. If you click on the alphabet letter, it'll take you to a list of every episode made starting with that letter.
Oh, wow.
So if you go to Q, you can look up
Cool.
Quantum Leap.
That's great.
Wow.
And adding that to my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
Add bookmark. Thank you.
Mhm.
Come again.
I also put it in the regular chat for anybody not in the private chat.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know we grew up without the internet, but man,
Yeah.
the
What
internet.
would we do without it?
You know, we had libraries, and that was a way to go about it. You know,
Encyclopedias.
Well, I don't know, Phil.
live action. Oh,
Yes,
the
I do.
series, the old series. Yep.
Yes, I do. With Nicholas something.
I forget his name. I remember watching that. Remember the Captain America
I got those
old
too.
one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, yes.
Wonder Woman.
Yep.
All right.
Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
Oh man.
See, what I want to get is like the Sid and Marty Krofft shows from the late 70s. Like, oh, God. I just blanked on everything.
Uh,
Well, I mean, it's like Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Puff. Puff the Magic Dragon.
Up the Magic
Nicholas
Dragon.
Hammond.
That's who was in the Spider-Man series.
Yeah, in the live action 1980 Spider-Man was Nicholas Hammond.
Yeah, but all those shows are just so stupid, and you can tell those people who wrote them were like way whacked out on drugs, and that's what made them good.
Yeah.
Because it was like, what the?
Yeah, but there's a
absolute
big
F am I
difference
watching?
between then and now because you've now got the story group doing the High Republic, and you can tell somebody in there was high with the way they're writing this.
Yeah, not on
No.
good stuff either. They had some of that nasty skunk weed.
You gotta say it right. When you're on here, you have to say it correctly. It's the High Republic.
Yeah. Yeah, they put a little something extra in their wacky weed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, we just need writers that, you know, there's plenty of writers who understand
Yes, there are.
good storytelling. The problem
But
is
they don't
that they're
check
not allowed to
boxes.
tell their stories.
Yep.
Yeah.
They don't check the boxes, so they won't hire them.
That's it.
Nope.
That's when we
Yeah,
grew
like
up with.
go ahead.
I was gonna say what we grew up with was great storytelling. That's what drove success in media. And if you didn't have a good story, those were the things that failed. Now it's
Yeah.
reversed,
Yep.
which is so weird.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like Scott Bakula was saying about Don Belisario in that interview,
Mhm.
he was checking off all the right boxes, paying
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
attention to details, making sure everything was period perfect,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and all that stuff. And it's like that's what we need, and everyone was entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything was laid out,
I mean,
thought about.
I was
yeah,
in
they had
I
a
was in
plan.
middle school. I was in middle school when, those episodes came out, and it glued me to the TV every week with my mother. At, 9, 10, 11 years old, it still caught my attention even though it wasn't science fiction
Mm-hmm.
because the
Yeah.
stories were that good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you can't really place a demographic on that show because it reached everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just
It
It,
did.
so good.
every culture, every religion, every race, everything was there because
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just humanity. That's
Mm-hmm.
life throughout the world and time. Everything was there because it always is always there. That's what makes the world, or at least what's supposed to make the world great.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. And you know what's crazy? I watch. I'm a member of the Mug Club, and I watch Steven Crowder, and he said something, and I was like, you know what? That is so true. How did we get to where we are? Because he said the generation that we grew up in, the late 70s, the 80s, and the early 90s, is the most diverse in thinking and least racist, and we just grew up not looking at that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
generation. So how do we get where we are now? Because we didn't grow up that way. We didn't look at that stuff. When you got number one shows that are the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, uh,
Yeah.
and all the other shows that were just a mixture, not just all white or all black. They were a complete mixture. How did we get to where we are now, where it can only be black shows and it can only be white shows? And
Mm-hmm.
I
It
don't
doesn't make any
understand it.
sense. We were the
Nope.
generation that was like, cut the crap, bring everything
Yeah,
together. We're done. Nothing should be off limits. Everything, people should be able to live their lives and let's all enjoy it together. We were that generation. And then somewhere along the way, someone changed the channel.
Oh, I'll tell
Yep.
you exactly what it was.
Hmm?
The seatbelt law. It
oh,
saved all the
I mean,
morons.
we grew up watching things
yeah,
like
right.
Archie Bunker,
Mm-hmm.
Yep, just like
The
Phil said.
Jeffersons,
Yeah.
Different
Sanford and
Strokes.
Son.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking
Yeah.
at an all white, and yeah, he was racist.
Hmm?
And you're looking at an all black, and yeah, he was racist. But
Yeah. Oh my
they
gosh.
did it in a funny way.
That's
And then you get
yeah.
Different Strokes, which was the mix.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
none of us had any problems with it. And back to Eddie, I feel you. It was me and my mother's now passed away also. So I feel you.
Hmm.
Mm,
I
And
100% understand.
yeah. These shows
And
brought
if
people
you look,
together for
they
memories
show,
like that.
yep.
yeah, they
And to
show
Darth
reruns
Arlena,
here
I
of
haven't caught any of the
2001.
Steven Crowder here lately. How did his surgery go?
The surgery went okay, but 21 days later, he had complications. They said he's doing okay now, but there hasn't been a follow-up video to exactly
Okay.
how he
Like
is.
I said, I hadn't caught him in a while.
Yeah, but uh, I watch Sanford and Son because it comes on here every day
Mm-hmm.
on one of these channels here, and
Big dummy.
oh my gosh, it's
Come on,
so
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Fred Sanford is so racist. You could not have this show nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
but it is
Nope.
No.
so hilarious.
Well,
And,
It
see,
is
now
and
so
that's
if
funny.
the one thing I say about Red Fox is the same thing I say about Eddie Murphy. In movies, TV shows, whatnot, they were great because they've got handlers that tell them what they can't do. You get either one of them in a straight stand-up, and I can't stand watching them.
It brings it to a whole new level when you have it's things like stand up versus like a sitcom. So
Right.
There's certain levels. So when you take a show where you have a character like Archie Bunker, you know, things like that, with like the way that's written, it's like, yeah, obviously he's racist, but it's
Right.
the way you portray this as the audience, you're like, yeah, that's not who you want to be, but it's done in an entertaining way that is just you get it as the
Hilarious.
audience. It's like,
Right.
I know that's not the right thing, but you know.
Well, I just got to say one thing. My heart is now full. High Purple.
Oh,
Hey.
Like I said, this has been
Hello
one of the
there.
best streams ever. Everybody has shown up today. It's been great. And now Purple Valkyrie. Thank you,
All you
love.
got to say is Quantum
Yeah.
Leap out in a crowd. People are going to go listen.
Yeah.
It's that
I haven't.
nostalgia we
I
get.
heard something about this, but I haven't really looked into it.
I hadn't heard about it.
Just because I don't know. He goes back and forth to being likable and being a douche.
Jonathan Schneider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes from
My
being John Schneider to Jonathan Schneider.
Mm.
You know, pushes up his glasses and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just goes back and forth with me. You know, like when he played the dad in Smallville, it was just such a dick.
Well, he had to be a hard ass.
Yeah, he did, but man, he did it way too good.
I liked him in that show. You know.
Well, see, now I've always said that's how you can tell good actors. Because when
Convincing.
you can't stand a character that much by their portrayal on screen, they've hit that right emotion, they've
Yeah.
done their job.
When you love to hate him, that's
Yep.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
it's so good. And
Yeah,
you know
he
what?
did it good.
In that same show, John Glover playing Lex's father.
Yes.
He's my
Oh.
favorite in that
Yes.
entire series.
He's good.
And
Excuse
oh
me.
my god, he was so perfect. And then when you hear him in interviews and stuff, he was actually just recently on Michael Rosenbaum's show, his podcast and show. What's it called? Inside of You, I think is what it's called. But he had him on interview.
Well, I'm interested.
The man's like the nicest guy like ever, but played this terrible man, like just this awful human being, which had his own redemption arc in that series. But that's the thing, you love to hate him, and that's because he was portrayed by the right person.
Yeah, and that's one thing.
Well, it's the same thing you get like into the professional wrestling when you get like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. You watch these shows and you want to just kill them right there. They're just that unlikable. But, you know, you get into a personal interview or you get into a cause and, you know, they are the nicest people on earth and are bending over backwards to do whatever needs to be done to get the right thing done. And then they go back to the show and you're like, ew, can't stand them.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
doing their job.
They're so good at it. That's I mean, look at Al in Quantum Leap. When you look back at the things he says and does in this show, it's like you have this balance. You have Sam, who's very innocent and everything, and then you have Al, who is like every time
The
Sam
wild
is a woman,
card.
yeah, he's like checking him out, like, oh my, the things he says in this show, you almost can't get away with it now.
Well, it's like Sam is C-3PO and Al is R2-D2.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
He plays straight man to a tin can.
Yep.
Every time though, when there's a woman on screen and Al's just like, oh, the things I would do. Yeah, it's Sam's like, wait, come on.
Yeah, I was just like, come on, man, get it, lay that pipe. You know? He's like, no, go away. This is so
man.
crazy.
But that's the thing, is that like, yeah, as the audience, we get it. It's like, okay, Al, yeah, you know, no.
Well,
you shouldn't
Scott
say that.
Bakula did a fantastic job when he actually switched places with Al
Mhm.
and got Al's libido.
That's so great.
And as Sam Beckett
Mhm.
in this body did not know what to do with himself, and Scott Bakula played that so
Oh,
perfectly.
So
he
great.
did. That's great.
I can't wait to rewatch that episode. It's the couple times he turns to Al at least twice.
Yes.
Well, I know he turns to Al in an episode where Al's accused of doing something wrong with the fighter group.
Mhm.
And then there's another time where he switches places with Al to the point where he's the hologram.
That's right.
Yes.
Al leaps. That's what
Yes.
it was. Yes. Yep.
And in order to save Al's life,
Mhm.
Sam had to get back in the accelerator.
Yeah, and go back, yeah.
Yep.
Being
That's
set
what
But
it
he
was.
came out
Yeah.
for a while because he remembered he had a wife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah,
And that was
chick
actually the
with
first
eyes.
time you actually saw the inner workings
Yes.
of the quantum leap chamber.
And that's what I always wanted to see. Is like, what was in there? Because all we seen was the chamber of him standing in the fan and the smoke.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it's all coming back now. See, I'm thinking about Back to the Show, but I got like Swiss cheese brain now because it's been so long.
I know.
I got a case of the Sam Beckett's.
Well, all the episodes are so good, it's easy to mix them together because, you know, even though they were different storylines, you know, it's all the same plot.
Yeah. Make right what once went wrong.
Yep.
Yep. Oh boy.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm typing something in the chat.
Green Lantern makes a really good point here. And he was saying, call me old-fashioned, but I feel like the decline of TV comes from a loss of respect of a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
There, it's just things are viewed so differently now, and the whole idea of putting yourself in someone else's shoes is lost because no one's willing to do that now. We live in a very selfish time.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone's world is here. It's in a little screen, and if people just stay to this, and tons of people don't know when to put this down.
Yeah, there's safety behind that keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I'll
And remaining
guarantee you a
anonymous.
majority of these people that are sitting on Twitter and are sitting on these devices would not say the same thing to your face.
Exactly.
Oh
Yep.
hell no, they wouldn't.
No. You get real brave behind a keyboard.
Yep.
And the internet and all this stuff. But
For those of you that weren't here earlier, I'm trying to get this going on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, go retweet that.
over here, I can't point to the right
Yeah.
place.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
Bring
Over
Sam
on the side.
home.
But yeah, it's you know, it brings the point to where, you know, talking about what's his name being the heel and you know, love to hate him and stuff like that. It's like that just tells you how good of an actor they are. And something that come to mind was a few years ago, Scarlett Johansson wanted to play this transgender guy, but they was like, no, we need a transgender guy to play that. It's like, no, you don't.
No,
She's an actress.
Yeah.
She's pretending to be somebody else. That's what they do.
It's the whole idea of acting.
Yeah. And if you bring somebody in who's actually going through that, yeah, they know what's going on, but at the same time, it's not going to be good.
What if they're not a good actor? So now all you've done is have someone there that literally is, but you needed someone who can be. Like it's just there's a different. You have to have a good actor will portray any character type within their realm of acting. So you know, it's to a point. Like obviously, there's certain actors that could never do certain things and everything, but it's just if you're that good, if you're that believable, then you could play anything. And that's a huge restriction on actors now, is that they're just not allowed to play someone else. You know, think about Tropic Thunder. and
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert
I'm a
Downey
dude
Jr.
who's
Yeah.
pretending to be a dude who's pretending to be another dude.
That would never. I haven't seen
Yeah.
that movie replayed on anything in any recent time. I love
No.
that. I have it. I have the DVD
Oh
of it.
yeah,
And I'm like,
I love
but,
it. It's great.
It is
but
a
that
great
whole
movie.
moment,
It's so good.
yeah,
You
that
never
would
go
never
forward, Tom.
fly now.
No.
I'm a dude playing a dude pretending to be another
Playing
dude.
another
Yeah.
dude.
It just would never happen now. But that was one of the greatest scenes in the whole movie.
It
Exactly. It
Oh
it
my
just
gosh,
brought it
was
all
so
home. It's
fun.
like,
Mhm.
and then when he finally comes out of his character, he's like, "Oh shit, we need to go."
When he said,
Mhm.
"What do you mean, you people?" I was like, "Oh my god!" Even then, I was like, "I don't know if I should be watching this."
Oh.
Oh,
Oh
my
it was
God, it was
so
great.
good. Oh my god!
It's
That's
like,
it.
you know, people nowadays, if they watched Blazing Saddles,
Oh,
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
oh my
all time.
God.
And
Oh, that is
it just
such a funny ass movie.
when they're working over
That
by the tracks.
and then in Robin Hood Men in Tights, when they refer back to it, a black
Mhm.
sheriff
Yeah.
worked in Blazing Saddles.
Oh my! It's so great.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah, Phil, they'll never do that
Mm-hmm.
because Disney bends the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I
And you
thought
know
they.
what's so terrible about that is Song of the South is actually based on former slave stories.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
it's not racist at all. The people
It's based
that
on
developed
historical
those
events.
stories were black, and these are the stories that they told after, during slavery times and afterwards, the stories that they passed down. So essentially what you're doing is you're erasing their legacy, just like Uncle
Mhm.
Ben and Aunt Jemima. Aunt Jemima was a real person.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
erasing
that
their
just-
legacy.
That just
Yep.
reminded me. I gotta
Remus.
find this. It's so. Oh man, I can't remember where I saw it. It was such a wonderful picture.
Yeah, it was kind of lackluster, but at the same time, Eddie, it was supposed to be a dumb movie. So I thought it kind of went with it. But I agree. It was like,
Oh, I found it. So it says it has two dates listed. It says 1950 and then there's 2020. It says 1950. I bet in 70 years we'll have flying cars. 2020.
Mhm.
This syrup is racist.
Yeah.
It's like,
yep.
this,
Oh.
what happened to the world?
I tell
That's
you,
it.
well,
yeah, really.
social media.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
one.
They gave everybody a voice who thought it was important,
Mhm.
and
And the
You know,
biggest problem
yeah.
is that all the negativity gets out through social media, but
Yeah.
there is so much positive. Think about
Mhm.
way more.
oh my god, and they get overshadowed by all the negativity. Think
Yeah.
about
Negative.
so many like the charity stream last night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we had less than 50 people there and raised over $2,300 in
Yeah.
3.5 hours. It was amazing.
And that's because we could come together through social media.
Yeah.
That's how that got put
Mhm.
together.
Yeah. But you want to see the problems of the world go away? You turn off Facebook and Twitter for 2 months,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
we'll
Or the
be back
network
to where we
news.
were.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, turn that shit off too.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just all propaganda now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It
it's just
is.
like what I keep seeing on the Facebook, some cabin out in the woods, and you have to live here for a month and you can get $1 million, asking, could you do it? Yes, I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew
Uh-huh.
up without computers.
Mhm.
Now, yes,
Yeah.
I can't see my life without a computer now because I'm on it and I do all sorts of work on it and, things like this. But yes, I grew up without them. So, yeah, I can do without.
We would be
I
able
have-
to revert back.
I have a cell phone.
Easily.
Mhm.
Easily.
The only thing that my cell phone does is occasionally bring up notifications that somebody went live on YouTube. I don't
Yeah,
call
right.
anybody. I don't text anybody. I don't use it. The only reason I have it basically is for emergency situations. Hey, my car breaks down. I can call somebody and say, hey, my car's broke down. Can you come help me?
Mhm.
That's the only reason I have the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, technology is good for a lot of things, but then it's a detriment in so much more. I can still remember my home phone number from when I was 4 years old. I can't tell you what my current number is.
Yeah, 'cause it's just everything just.
It's a little icon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Same here.
Mm-hmm.
I
No, I'm
had 10,
with you.
12 different friends. I could remember every one of their numbers by memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not anymore.
I don't even know my daughter's phone number.
Yeah, I don't know anybody's number. It's like, and when something asks like for me to put my own number in, I'm like, I gotta look.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta look
You know,
at it.
I go to Lowe's to pick something up, and they, you know, okay, what's your home phone number? And the next thing out of my mouth is, you would ask me that.
Yeah. It reminds me of I loved this show and it got canceled prematurely. Was Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I've got those too.
I love it.
That
Left off
was
such a
a
huge
great
cliffhanger.
show.
But one of my favorite moments was
Oh,
when
that's
she
so
did
great.
time travel and she goes into the store to go get a phone. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, you can get this one. It's gonna do this and that and the texting and the all this thing." She goes, "Oh wow, I have a question." It's like, "Oh yeah, what do you guys? If I just put a string of numbers in right here, will I hear somebody talk to me on the other end?" And he's like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, I'll take this one." I was like, "That was brilliant."
Yep.
Yeah, Phil brings up a good point about Song of the South.
Mhm.
The black actress
Oh,
won an
yeah.
Oscar for her role in that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney be rolling in his grave for a lot of things Disney's doing right now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought they did put it back on Disney Plus. Did they not? I
No,
thought there was a big thing of it
No.
going on there. They didn't,
Mm-mm.
because they've been altering
It is
stuff.
not on there.
Yeah.
Unless they bought it for the premium service or bought it back for the
Mm,
premium service.
I don't know, but they
I
did
don't
edit
know.
some movies.
I have Disney Plus still, so
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Well,
It's
just
not up
like
there. It's not
Disney,
listed.
you know, taking things like The Aristocrats or Dumbo or Peter Pan and saying, oh, we're not going to do this anymore because they're offensive. To who?
You know,
I was like, come on.
And-
if
people-
they're that offensive, don't watch them.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Change the damn channel.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I've been telling people
Absolutely.
since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Somebody in my family would be watching. I'd be watching TV or something like that, and somebody walk in, my sister, my mom. It's like, well, that's just terrible. And it's like, well, don't watch it. I'm watching
Right.
it. You don't have to watch
Yeah.
it with me. You can go in your room, or I'll turn this off and go in my room and watch it.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's as simple as that. If something pisses you off, change the channel. Go
Yep.
do
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
Or be like Phil said, go outside and play in the dirt and be thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Find a stick and a rock and just go. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stick can be your lightsaber, and all the rocks can be geoed, and you can just tear his ass up.
Hell, my brother and I used to use wiffle bats and recreate the Empire Strikes Back fight scene.
There
Oh,
you go.
hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. We used to go out there, find a stick, find a pine cone, and try to recreate the thing from March of the Wooden Soldiers. You know, hit the end of the pine cone and then whack it and see how far we can hit it.
Shoot you out.
I mean, I can remember summer times, you know, during school breaks, you know, sunrise, we were out the door. And nobody
Oh,
heard
hell
from
yeah.
us till sunset.
Yep.
So the street lights came on.
Yep.
Exactly.
And if you
You
weren't
had that
home,
fun.
your ass was getting turned red.
Yep. We would
Oh,
listen
yeah.
out, you know, from a block away, just listen for the yell of either my mother or father.
Yep.
Just like, boys!
Yep.
And we'd yell
Mhm.
back, 5 more minutes!
And if you
And
heard
if
your
you
middle
wanted to know
name, you
what-
were in deep
Mhm.
shit.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, no.
And it's like, oh no, she said my whole name. I gotta go.
My wife did that to me once. I was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Listen.
wanted to know where everybody was hanging out at, you just look for the bikes in the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. That's it. Oh,
Mhm.
that's what I'm like.
And I
I
don't
try to keep like.
I don't know about
kid-
y'all, but oh, sorry, Matt.
No, go ahead.
I don't know about y'all, but my parents' rule was You never go into anybody's house until my parents have met their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was the
That's
rule.
it.
After the parents have met, then you can go inside and play inside. But neither set of parents wanted your asses inside, so you were outside all day, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how
We're
daggone hot
outside.
it was. And you know what's so funny? The heat never bothered any of us.
No.
We were all just used to it.
I,
That was
well, I stayed outside. We all stayed
Yeah,
outside.
go ahead and tell today's
And
generation to
you
make a tree fort.
they'll be like,
yeah,
a
and
what?
you wanted
With
some
scraps.
horrible punishment.
Yep.
And no tools.
Some
Yep.
Mhm.
some yeah,
Oh yeah.
some
And we'd
horrible
still find a
punishment
way to
back
make a
in the
sign.
day.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had 2 of them
Horrible
collapse on me.
punishment back in the day tell us we can't go outside.
Mm-hmm.
That was some serious punishment. You can't go outside for a week. Oh man.
Yep. You only go outside to go to school, and that's it. And I was like, oh.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Or being told to
Didn't
go to your
nobody
room or
want
go
to
to bed
stay
while the sun's
inside.
still up.
Oh.
Oh god, that was the
Mhm.
worst.
It was the worst.
Well, it's the same thing. You know, you're going to eat your dinner. If not, guess what you're having for breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Your dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ugh.
There was no such thing as being a picky eater.
Nope.
No.
No.
You ate.
This was dinner. If you don't eat this, you don't eat.
That's
Yep.
it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The only exception that my mother ever made was liver.
Okay.
Ugh.
And the thing is, my mother always had one rule, because I'd always heard about liver and how people didn't like liver. Well, my mother never made it, and the one time she did, her only rule: try it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I ate about half of it and went, I can't stand the taste. Okay, then you're done. Yeah, you don't need to eat the rest. There was no having it in the morning, And if she ever made liver for my father who liked it, she always made us something else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we at least had to try it.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That's like with my son. He's such a good eater because he tried everything.
We never had the switch. We had the belt escaping belt loops.
I had both.
My grandmother
I had
had
both.
the wooden spoon.
Oh, you know what was worse? When they invented the plastic spoons.
Oh,
Those things,
Yes.
those things had recoil.
Yep.
yeah, oh
Bend it back.
man.
And they don't break.
Yep. I did
And they
in
don't
the
break like
80s.
the wooden.
In the 80s, I did the whole. I grew out the tail, out the back.
Oh, the ducktail.
I did the tail.
Mm.
So you want to know when I had that cut off? When my father realized that when me and my brother would start to run away, that would go up in the air for a moment. So he would just
Mhm.
grab that tail.
Mhm.
Oh. Oh.
We were like,
Yep.
oh, we need a haircut.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that didn't last long, that fashion.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
Phil. If I got it sent to go get a switch and I brought back a twig, they'd go get the tree and beat
Mhm.
my ass with that tree.
Yep.
Holy
Mhm.
God! It's like I didn't know you
Yep.
could lift that much. It's like you pissed me off.
Yeah, that's it. At that point, Dad becomes Hulk.
Yep.
I didn't
Thing
know
about
my
it was,
ass
it was
could
my
jam
mom.
that much on it.
You know, my mom's out there like She-Hulk going, "Raw, you must die." And oh,
Oh man.
yeah, Eddie, I got
Those are the
slapped for
days.
that.
Hmm.
Shut your mouth and eat your dinner. But how can I eat my food if my mouth's closed? Smack upside the head.
Yep.
Mhm.
I remember.
Mhm.
I remember this clear as day because I still can feel the fear. It was dinner was put in front of me. I don't remember how old I was. I was young, stupid. Plate of dinner was put in front of me, and I just was whatever having an attitude. And I was like, I'm not going to eat this, and I slid the plate away from me. Except I slid too far, and I pushed the plate right off the table, full of food,
Ooh.
smashed on the floor,
Ooh.
and I could still to
Oh,
this day
God.
see the fire go into my father's eyes. Like,
Oh yeah.
and I knew right there, I was like, because I didn't mean to do that, but I was just like,
Mm,
Dead child walking.
This is where it all ends.
mhm.
Oh,
Because I
that's
wouldn't eat the meatloaf.
oh god, that's giving me stomach acid, and I wasn't even there.
Mm.
Oh god, I can just picture it though. Jeez.
Oh,
How long
man.
before you could sit down again?
Oof, man, I walked everywhere. I knew I deserved everything coming my way, and there was at that point you just have to accept and just it's
Yep.
like don't fight this, because we all had those moments as kids where we did something stupid and realized
Oh
it,
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
and it's just kind of like
yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I still
it's
do
like
that
the
to
time
this
I
day.
told my dad. We were sitting at the dinner table, and he said something. I said something smart, and he said, "Say it again, and I'm gonna knock your ass into next week." So I decided to be a smart ass and say, "Well, at least I'll know what's gonna happen in the future." Yeah, I didn't see that
Oh,
one coming. My ass was on the
Nice.
floor the next thing I knew.
You were waking up the next week.
so
Yeah,
so
I
Sam
just
would be
remember
jumping into
being
you to
on
fix
the
that.
floor. Yeah, yes, he would.
Why am I here, Al? Oh, she's about to say something really stupid.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
See, that's why I like you here, Matt. You just bring it all right back to where we're supposed to
Yeah, yep.
be. It's like, oh. And like Eddie says, if you fall and break both your legs, don't come running to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It's like if you hurt yourself and you die, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like what?
Oh, yeah.
And if you did that,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? Slap? Okay, I'm going outside.
Yeah, see, back then it wasn't how the first thing is not how hurt are you, it's what stupid thing did you
Did you
do
do?
to
Yep.
get
Yeah.
here?
It's like, oh God, what
What
did
did
you
you
do
do?
now?
Hmm.
My wife still does that to me.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was no coddling like they do nowadays.
Mhm.
No. Mm-mm. And I didn't
If
coddle
you,
my kids either.
Now,
I raised
now,
my
if you
kids the
got
same
hurt,
way.
if you got hurt over something that wasn't your fault, oh yeah, Mama Bear's coming.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
you did something stupid.
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah.
Look, I had my
You
share
know,
of
my mother
injuries
would
that I
sit there and
hid.
go, "Boy, that looks like it hurt."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bet you're thinking you're stupid, ain't you?
I'm not about to go tell my parents why my arm hurts because I jumped off the ladder through the table just like the WWF.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
I'm not going to tell my mom I cracked 3 ribs jumping off the house being Superman.
Yeah.
Right?
Nobody else needs to know
Yeah.
about that except you and your friends.
Yes. Getting arm slung into a holly bush. Oh,
All
Oh
right.
gosh.
Oh, I'm getting the holler from my daughter.
oh my God.
She's home.
Oh, nice. Well,
Yeah, we've been going for almost 3 hours.
It don't
2
feel
Oh
hours.
my
like it.
gosh.
Yes. 2
It
hours
does
and
not
58
feel
minutes.
Wow.
all right.
I was about to say if Loki and Mexican Iron Man were going to be on, they'd be on in 2 minutes.
Right? When we're getting ready
Golly.
to end.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. But anyway,
Ah,
man, I want to thank you all for being here today. This has been an absolute
Oh,
blast.
it was a pleasure.
Likewise. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you having us all on, man. It's
Oh,
so
hell
great.
yeah. Anytime. Anytime, because, like this proves, and like all of the streams prove, we just talk about what we're going to and then go. And
Oh,
there
yeah.
ain't no telling where we're going to end up.
Hmm.
hey, but it
We
all
covered a
relates
lot
back
today.
to quantum leap.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
We quantum leaped from topic to topic.
Yeah.
There we go.
did. That we did. Oh,
And the thing is, not a negative thing was said.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Is that?
are you positive?
No.
Oh.
Man.
I guess Eddie's going live after we do this.
Nice.
Oh,
All right.
I'm coming.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I will listen
So every-
while I'm cooking my dinner.
Yes. I will listen while I'm letting the dogs out because
Yep.
they're getting antsy.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, they kind of let you know earlier they needed to go.
Yeah.
forgot about about that. Oh, I got to rewind and watch that part again.
Oh my God, that was
Yeah.
that was terrifying. So it's like all of a sudden, it's like bam, and I'm like, oh my God, what was that?
You turned away from the camera like,
Oh, Phil's got homework for y'all.
Yes.
yeah, I know, Phil. I'm slacking.
I know.
I'm in the same boat as Coach. I didn't know what Star Blazers was, and I have to go and watch. And trust me, it's on my list. It's on my to-do list.
Yeah.
And thank you, Matt.
It's
I appreciate it.
Matt Risman.
Thank you, Moff Rispin. And thank you all for being here and sitting through all this rigmarole that we've done. And it was a great topic today. And God Almighty, the dog just farted again. Oh my God!
You put it out in the universe.
Oh my God! Oh,
Losing Daryl.
oh, Jesus Christ! I ain't even got nothing to light a fire with. Oh my God! Okay, well, thank y'all for being here, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. We'll see y'all.